The reviews are in, and Bit Harmony is a hit. The New York Times calls it immaculate. Rolling Stone raves an immaculate podcast. Rotten Tomatoes certified freshes us with this review.
Only 2 words can describe Bit Harmony. Im and accurate.
And Chicago Tribune declares, this is truly, without hyperbole, the most immaculatest audio event of this or any lifetime. Now sit back, relax, and let Matt and Seth immacularize your soul. Welcome to Bit Harmony.
You're listening to Bit Harmony, a video game music podcast, the video game music podcast. I'm sure I've used that joke before too at some point in the past. Anyway, I'm Matt. That's me.
Hi, I'm Seth. That's me. If it were more SEO friendly to call it Bit Harmony : the video game music podcast, that'd be a pretty good bit. There was a podcast. I didn't actively listen to it, but you know what it was? Back in the day, I reached out to Super Mario Broth for an interview back on the old All In podcast, and I had seen that they were interviewed by another podcast called the Pumpkin Copter podcast or something, and their intro was, "Welcome to the Pumpkin Copter podcast, the only podcast," and that was it. And I thought that was a pretty good bit.
That's a very good bit. That's an awful name and a great bit to go alongside an awful name.
Yeah, I always got a good laugh out of that. I just listened to their interview with them, and it wasn't very good, but I did like that bit.
Is it like a low budget podcast? What is it?
Yes. Yeah, it was extremely low budget, and it was just one person kind of just interviewing people, but they weren't a very good or personable interviewer. I don't know. It just seemed like people were just kind of agreeing to it to come on their show. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it's still active anymore. So not to drag this potentially, dead podcast, but. Yeah.
I also say low budget podcast as if we aren't just two guys sitting
we're
at
in
our
a big
desks.
Professional studio.
Yeah,
is it one of these low budget podcasts?
We're funded by the corporations, NASDAQ, all of that. We're Wall Street, baby. We're so Wall Street that I'm worried about playing the Skate Story soundtrack on this episode of the podcast.
We are commentators. We are reviewing the songs. It is under fair use. It's fine. I'm more worried about them doing yard work outside this morning. So hopefully future Matt doesn't have too many issues with this.
Oh, future Matt is about to have a whole lot of issues. So let's stop giving myself even more issues. Let's get to the intro. Today we are doing the best game soundtracks of 2025. Kinda. It's not as simple as these are the best soundtracks. We always divide these up into 2 episodes. So we do a mid-year episode covering the first half of the year, and now we're doing the back half of 2025. So we'll go over this in a little bit. You won't hear much Mario Kart World, if any, in this episode. We talked about it for an hour and a half, 6 months ago. We're just talking about the back half of 2025, basically. Anyway, your intro this episode, I don't know how to pronounce this. Sykes, C-E-Y-X, in all caps. Stage 5 from the video game Birdcage. And this is composed by Barry Epoch Topping, and we will be right back. Sykes. I don't Ceyx. That's the name of a ship that you are piloting.
It's a Metroid enemy. Yeah.
Yeah. He was my favorite in Metroid Prime Hunters. He turned into a dreidel in his alternate form instead of a
Yeah, I
morph
can't
ball.
wait for him to be the main antagonist of Metroid Prime 5.
There will never be a Metroid Prime 5. No, I'm just kidding. I will say, with Sykes, I'm just going to call it Sykes from now on. This is always the energy that I want for basically any episode of Bit Harmony as like the intro. I always want to come in here with like this level of just over the topness, but it's especially important for me on these best of the year episodes. Like, yeah, I just want instant heavy rock drums and electric guitars with also a splash of surprise rock saxophone in there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's good stuff. Is Barry Topping the most delicious composer name we've had on the show? I'll have an ice cream with some berry topping. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're at like what's the Baskin Robbins? That's the place with like a bunch of different flavors, right? And you're getting the berry topping. Also, his avatar on Blue Sky, it's him, but he's in like a kind of like tan or gold suit or something that also brings to mind like a caramel like glaze. We're gonna talk a lot about glazing this episode, honestly.
Already.
So I'm glad we've approached the topic of glaze from a completely different angle so early on. I don't know. This song might have swooped into snatch the Bit Harmony Horn Boys Best Saxophone of the Year award, like out at the 11th hour from Mario Kart World.
Well, I gotta say, one thing that I really appreciate about this year in gaming, you and I played a lot of like the same things, but there are definitely some games that you played this year that I didn't, and that I played this year that you didn't, and I think that you're really like in this episode was fun to listen to the music selections for and make notes for, because there are like games like Birdcage that slipped through the cracks for me that you played, and I'm like, oh, like this rules. Like this is just ear candy, this song. Like this is everything that I want in music. Like I want electric guitars and drums and like wailing, harmonizing, rock saxophones and everything that I love in a song. It's got a key change, which I always love, like the vocals and like these great builds and solos. Like it's got everything that I love in a song in this song. And it was like just one of those things where I listened to it and I was like, man, I gotta get around to this Birdcage game.
Yeah, it's very good. I guess we talk a little bit about the game itself real quick. It's a bullet hell shooter. I mostly wouldn't even go so far as to say bullet hell. It doesn't really get into the bullet hell category for me fully until the last couple of stages of the game. It's more of just like a vertical shmup.
Yeah.
For the most part. The big difference is the main ship that you're piloting for most of the game has a laser sword. Like you can hold L2 on the controller to pull out a laser sword, and
pretty
you can
sick.
Yeah, you can rotate it fully around your character with the right analog stick and stuff, and you can shoot it as like an extra missile or whatever. That's already cool enough. But specifically with Sykes, with the second ship that you can pilot, in the story you pilot this ship in the 5th stage, as the title of the song would imply. It plays completely differently. The ship moves way slower, and it does not have a laser sword, but it has these homing missiles, and also has extra homing missiles where this is where the bullet hell stuff starts coming in, where if you get close enough to a bullet without getting hit, it launches homing missiles. So then, like the end boss of stage 5, you're not even needing to shoot anymore. You're just dodging, but that is also your offense.
Okay.
It is so cool. It is one of the coolest moments, and like stage 5 and 6 in the end of Birdcage are some of my favorite moments in a game this year. Birdcage rules. Came out like November of 2025. I don't know how much it costs, like $15 or something. Not super long. It's not like Star of Providence where you're going to be stuck on it for a while. I suck at these games, and I still beat it in like 4 hours without even going into easy mode or anything. It's not that hard, but it's very almost set piecey. It's set piecey. It's very satisfying. It's just over the top cool. The whole soundtrack is of this quality. Like Barry Topping, he's the composer for Paradise Killer, which I've never played the game, but I've heard the soundtrack, and that's an insanely good soundtrack. So, yeah, if anything that I'm saying sounds good, if you love that song, hey, Birdcage rules, and at the very least, the soundtrack is on Bandcamp too.
It has shot up on my list of things to get to here early in the new year, which I'm tracking my games with a spreadsheet this year, and I'm also tracking the amount of money that I'm spending on games, and luckily I don't have to pay for this one because we're on a Steam family plan.
Yeah. Hey, so I didn't have to pay for it either because I got a code for review, so neither of us had to pay for it. Which it is worth paying for. Let me make that clear. This isn't me promoting not paying for things, but hey, if you're on a Steam family share plan, of course you should take advantage of it. Yeah, did you have any other notes on the Sykes Stage 5?
Good stuff. I'm glad you brought this to the show. Because I don't know when I would have listened to it otherwise. So
yeah, honestly, there were like 3 other songs that I thought about from Birdcage to bring to this, but it was this song specifically that just like stuck with me so much. Like that saxophone, it's like the song version of an exclamation point. You know, like that. It's just well so said. Good. I just had to do this song specifically, but yeah, the whole soundtrack. Fantastic. Check out Birdcage. Also, like I forget what the subtitle is, but it's like laser sword action, and it's like in the Metal Gear Solid font. It's check out Birdcage. It's pretty good. When it comes to general housekeeping this episode, I'll just say right off the bat, we're not doing a Sean Capri Presents the State of the Nintendo Music Address. There actually hasn't even been a Nintendo Music drop anyway.
Yeah, so these are troubling times in the kingdom. We're in a state of unrest right now. I thought that we were going to have to like snub a drop this week because of the show. But yeah, no, they're so far the kingdom is still in silent. There has been no Nintendo Music drop.
I actually saw people being weirdly anxious about this. I'm like, who cares? It's
fine. You were not. You most likely were not going to listen to whatever it was anyway.
I swear, I think we're the only people that listen to like some of these drops, like Wii Party and stuff.
I'm sure
like,
that's true. Yeah,
Nintendo's looking at the stats anxiously, and they're like, "Who are these 2 dudes that are listening to every Wii Party song?" I don't know.
But you know what this does allow us to do though. Really quickly, not to get us on a big tangent or whatever, we're recording this on January the 7th. There has not been a Nintendo Music drop. Do you want to predict what we think the first drop of the year will be? That'd be kind of interesting.
Was Wii Party the last drop of 2025?
I think that's right, and that kind of rules.
That's awesome. Let's go with Wii Party U for the first drop of 2026.
That'd be sick. I think that first of all, I'm going to predict this because I want it, but also I think it'd be a great like opening salvo for the year. 3D World. I want the 3D World Bowser's Fury soundtrack.
Is 3D World not on there? That's another one of those I just assumed was on there.
I don't think 3D World is on there. No, I want 3D World Bowser's Fury on. I don't believe it is. So
3D World, yeah, it should be on there. Yeah, I believe you that it's not on there. It just again, we talk about it all the time. I just assumed it was already on there. It just seems like such a I feel like they should just have like all the Wii U era games already on there.
Yeah, no, it's not on there. I'm looking at it right now. I thought not. Because I like that soundtrack would be getting a lot of play from me if it were.
Yeah. So, I genuinely think 3D World is my favorite Mario soundtrack, at least of like the mainline Mario game.
It might be mine too. 3D World just like if we were to cover like if we were to do a full episode on like a mainline Mario game, I think it would be that.
Why have I literally never thought about that until right now? Maybe we should pencil that in like for the next episode.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna need like a layup, I think, after the next episode or on the next episode. But so you heard it here first. If the first drop of the year on Nintendo Music is either Wii Party U or Mario 3D World, then Seth or I was right. And that's it. That's all there really is.
Let's get that recorded. It will be neither of those things, but we were all here.
Yeah, probably be some NES game that no one has thought about in 20 years.
Yeah.
We have a couple other things for general housekeeping. We are going on a bit of a break after this episode. I'm not even going to commit to specifically when we're returning. It's going to be a span of a couple weeks, I think, but we're not going to be gone too long. Don't worry about it. We will be back soon. There's just a lot of stuff going on in like late January, early February. However, on January 25th, which would be when our next episode would be going up normally, we will be releasing both a new mini for people on Patreon, our supporters on Patreon, and we're going to be releasing the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Star Crossed World mini that we did a few months ago. That should be unlocked on the public feed at that point. That way, in our absence, you still get to enjoy some new stuff.
Yes. Now, I will say this. If you want to listen to that Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed World mini, you do still need to go to the Patreon. It'll be on the free Patreon feed, but you do still need to go over there to listen to it. So go over there. It'll be on the public Patreon feed. You can make a free Patreon account and sign up to our Patreon on a free membership and listen to it there. So do that. And is that a thinly veiled way to get you into our Patreon ecosystem? Yes, of course it is. But do that, check it out, and then we got the brand new mini that'll be happening as well. And you can get a 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier and check out all the minis that we've done. So there you go. Do that.
Yeah, if you join at the free tier, I think the Earthblade, I think we put the Earthblade mini up for free.
That's right.
A long time ago too. So you sign up, you get a couple free mini episodes that you just haven't heard before. Unless you've been a Patreon supporter before. In which case, what's wrong with you? What did we do wrong? Get back in there.
I'm offended.
Did we have any reviews or comments?
I didn't see anything. I was kind of taking a cursory glance. I do want to call out somebody very specifically, because I know that he'll listen to this. Sean Capri had mentioned to me that he was listening to the last episode when we were calling out people for not reviewing it, and he felt like I was calling him out specifically for not reviewing the show. And now I am calling him out specifically. Sean Capri, review the podcast. You listen to it. You listen to every episode. You love the podcast. It takes you 2 seconds. Leave a 5-star review.
I mean, yeah, we are specifically calling out anyone that listens and hasn't reviewed the show. So yeah, we were.
So I told him, like, because I didn't even know what he was talking about. He was like, I felt like you were calling me out in the last episode. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you were talking about people who listen to the show and love the show but haven't reviewed it. And I was like, oh, well then I was calling your ass out.
That's the whole point.
So
it's your fault that you needed to be called out in the first place.
Yeah, don't make me do this. Like, review the show and there won't be a problem. It's free, it's easy, it's genuinely one of the best ways that you can help the show grow. What's the hang up here? What are we doing? Where's the miscommunication, people? Come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
This is the real reason why we're not doing a Sean Capri Presents. I'm removing the Sean Capri Presents.
Yeah, in retaliation. Until you leave a review, the segment will not return. We'll be in a stalemate.
John Doe presents the state of the Nintendo Music address. Did you have any post-mortem thoughts on the Angeline era episode, the previous episode of Bit Harmony, before we get started?
No, I thought that wound up being one of our best episodes we've done in a while. I really enjoyed it. I think that's always the case whenever we do an Analgesic Productions game, like, just because obviously the music is going to be great, but I don't know. I thought the conversation was very raw and honest and just thoughtful, and yeah, that was, quintessential Bit Harmony. That episode, I think it's everything that I love about the show was in that episode. I think it was a good one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that was one of the best episodes we've ever done, and definitely like in recent memory. Not that I think we put out bad episodes, I don't think, but yeah, right. This was a pretty good one. I'll just shout out that I have played like way more Angeline era in the time since we recorded that podcast.
Oh, right.
and it took me. I had 17 hours logged on Steam when we recorded that podcast. I'm like at 36 hours now, and I did find the wand along with another weapon that we didn't talk about. I think it's called the Angel Rod. Is what that wand is called. Then there's also a throwing spear, and like it comes back to you after you throw it. That I didn't find before, and in the debug mode, I also figured out there's the broom from Anodyne 1, which I don't think has any unique qualities to it. It's just a broom, but also
that is cool though.
I like that. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you can find that in the game normally. It didn't seem like it's a debug only mode thing, but I found the rod and the spear like where they actually are in the game. Have not found the broom, but I think I think I have to call it. I think I've played too much Angelina in the past couple weeks.
I'm gonna leave it on the back burner until the Switch version comes out, and then I'll replay it. Yeah.
Great game. If anything, I like it even more now than I did when we recorded that podcast, which is very funny. That's how like recent that game is, where I'm still figuring out exactly how I feel about it after we've recorded a 3-hour episode of a podcast about it. With that all said, we're about to talk about some damn games, some damn 2025 games and their soundtracks. Before we get to our first break and whatever, I just wanted to go down a list of the games from 2025 and their soundtracks that we've already talked about in 2025. That way you'll know, hey, why aren't they talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza? Because we did a whole damn episode on it. Where were you?
Right.
So real quick, this is the list of every 2025 game we've taught and their soundtrack that we've talked about in like a decent chunk. And that's why we're not bringing it up here. UFO 50. I did almost forget about this one. We did talk about that at the very beginning of the year when neither of us had put that much time into it, but we realized how good the soundtrack was.
It felt like a snub, and it still kind of feels like a snub, to be honest, but I get it.
If I'm honest, I kind of still want to do a full episode on it down the road.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, like, what? How do you even tackle that? Like,
I have an idea, but we'll have to talk about that off the podcast at some point. But yeah, I just want to shout out that when we were young, dumb baby boys that knew nothing, we did talk about UFO 50 a little bit. We talked about Monster Hunter Wilds. We talked about Star of Providence, Promise Mascot Agency, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, To a T, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Mario Kart World. All of those, besides Monster Hunter Wilds, were in the mid-year checkpoint episode. And then we had a full episode on Donkey Kong Bonanza. We had a mini episode on Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Starcross World. Again, if you sign up for free on the Patreon, you can hear that yourself in a couple weeks. We talked quite extensively on the last episode about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We did like a mini review of the game and the soundtrack in the Nintendo Music section of the show. And of course, the full topic of the last episode was Angeline Era. So that's everything that I could remember that we talked about from 2025 in 2025, hence them not being in this episode. Do you remember if I forgot anything here?
No, this seems about right. I think you pretty much covered it here, and if there's anything that we did forget, it probably is not it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we've already talked about a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of hopeful that some of the soundtracks that we're going to talk about in this episode, talking about the back half of the year, are either going to be soundtracks that are underrepresented or in other, like something that people are not talking about that much. I'm hopeful, or at least that component of them. So I don't know. I see we have some honorable mentions here for stuff that didn't quite make the cut. Hades 2 was one for me that I was like, yeah, like maybe we should play some Hades 2 music on here, but like y'all know Hades 2, it's fine.
The main issue we ran into with Hades 2 was honestly Seth and I just don't want to talk about the game for an extended period of time. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just sounds boring. Like, what can I say about Hades 2 at this point? And yeah, the fight against the Cyclops song is incredible. There's like a jazz flute in there that's insanely good, but you can go listen to it on YouTube. You don't need us to analyze the song for 5 minutes or whatever. I did want to quickly shout out Leica Aged in Blood, which came out on Switch in 2025. I think it's been out for quite a while before then. Mixed feelings on the game, but the soundtrack was incredibly good, like weirdly good for what the game is. A lot of vocal songs and stuff. It was very, very good. And I did want to really quickly shout out Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, which I played like 60 hours of in the span of like 2 weeks when I was sick, and then I haven't touched it since. I use quite a lot of the songs in there in our quiz show episode. A lot of like if you're hearing any music in that quiz show episode that you're like, huh, this sounds really like festival-y or bizarre-y, it's because it's from Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. It's a great soundtrack for that kind of stuff. But if you don't have any other honorable mentions, then I think we should just get into it then.
I don't think I do. I mean, there are a couple of other things that I thought about talking about, like in the first half of the year, stuff like Sorry We're Closed, which I think has a good soundtrack, but not quite, something that I want to stop and like really spend time on. Citizen Sleeper 2 is another one I think has some great music, but again, it's not, it's not top of my list. And then there are a couple of other things that I would have had for honorable mentions that we'll get into in voicemails. So yeah, worth noting, we're not doing a voicemail section. We are interspersing the voicemails in between our picks and stuff, so you will start hearing voicemails pretty soon. And yeah, when it comes to Sorry We're Closed, I'm playing that literally like right now. I'm near the end. Great soundtrack, but yeah, not a lot of it would make for good podcast. Pretty atmospheric until you get to like the boss fights where it's like Okamura like vocalized stuff and
very British hip hop stuff, which is sick. But yeah, it'd be fun to find a way to talk about that game in general. But yeah, this is
I would love to.
This probably isn't the best place for it. Like this
maybe
podcast,
a mini.
I mean,
could be a mini.
Yeah, okay, mini. Yeah, let's pencil that in somewhere down there.
We're just doing our 2026 planning here live on the show.
Yeah, we've already come up with like 3 new episodes. It's fine. For our first break, then, our first game that we're going to talk about is actually Trails in the Sky First Chapter. This is the remake of the original Trails in the Sky game. I played this for review back in September. I have a lot to say about it. I think it's the best RPG of the year. I say that knowing full well I played through Clair Obscur also. I know what I'm saying. Trust me on this. Anyway, for the break, we've got Sophisticated Fight Command version and Seaport City of Ruan as your sound picks or as your song picks. This was composed by the Falcom sound team. I could not find specifics beyond that, but hey, it's a Japanese game. That stuff is usually pretty hard to find. So
yeah,
again, Sophisticated Fight Command version and Seaport City of Ruan from Trails in the Sky First Chapter, and we'll be back. That was Sophisticated Fight Command version in Seaport City of Ruan. So, like I said, first chapter is a remake of the first game. Kind of like the Trails games are already spin-offs of another other series. It's kind of, I guess,
Legend
Persona.
of Heroes.
Yeah, it's kind of Persona-ish in that regard, where it's like spin-off of a spin-off kind of thing. It's hard to track. I've always been interested in the series, like in the same way that I've always been interested in the East series, but like
Yeah.
I was never able to find like a good jumping in point. For me with East, that ended up being East 8 Lacrimosa of Donna. But yeah, I literally I've been sniffing around for like 3 years. I'm like, there has to be a way to approach getting into the Trails game that doesn't involve like buying the original version of Trails in the Sky on like the PSN store on a Vita or something, right? I think it is on Steam or something, but I was just like, I'm not going to play it on Steam, to be honest. But yeah, then they announced last year, I guess in 2024 at this point, they announced that they were remaking the original Trails game. Was super stoked just immediately, not knowing anything about it. I just saw that the main character, Estelle, her weapon was a staff, and I just love having staffs as the main weapon in video games. Just one of the best RPGs I've ever played, straight up. Like, it's fantastic. I truly think it might be my favorite turn-based combat system ever. At least not like, I'm going to remove like Baldur's Gate 3 from that equation, but in terms of like traditional turn-based RPGs, it is a very, very good mix of positional-based tactics and traditional turn-based stuff. Yeah, the story ended up being way better than I was expecting. It actually has stuff to say about like compassion and then how the world views men versus women. And it weirdly, in the past 3 months, it feels like it has even more relevance now than it did 3 months ago because of like the current actions going on with imperialism with the United States and Venezuela. And it's weirdly prescient right now, considering it's a remake of a game from 2004. Even more importantly than any of that, maybe, is that the soundtrack is fantastic. There's not a ton I can really say about either of these songs other than they're just like fantastic. I'm going to say like almost generic RPG music, but in a fantastic way. Like, again, the game is originally from 2004, and this feels like it's channeling like an optimistic era of video games and humanity that doesn't exist anymore, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
there's not a cynical bone in Trails in the Sky. It is a fully optimistic game, even though it does start getting darker at the end. And yeah, I never got tired of like the game. It's over like 80 hours. It felt like it went by in half that amount of time for me. this sophisticated fight command version, this is like the main battle theme, at least when you're doing the turn-based combat.
Okay.
And I never got tired of it. I just never, ever I was always excited to get into a battle. Because I'm like, yeah, I get to hear sophisticated fight again. In terms of like specific things with the song, I just want to shout out that like Falcom sound team always does incredible work when it comes to like rock music in RPGs. Again, the East games also come to mind. Just special shout outs to the drums. It sounds like the drummer's about to ignite at any moment in like any of their songs. But yeah, I just really love this song a lot.
Yeah, this was my first time hearing it. You know, the game has been on my radar ever since hearing you speak so highly about it. I don't play a lot of RPGs these days, but hearing your effusive praise of this did put it on my wish list pretty immediately. And it's been on sale actually, and I've been like right at the just sort of teetering on the edge of like, do I just go ahead and buy this? To be honest, if there weren't so many games coming out in pretty, within the next couple of weeks that I'm like really wanting to play, I probably would have bought it by now. But I'm just gonna leave it on the wish list for now. But I will get to this. I do really want to play it. And yeah, like this song was great. I had never heard any of this music before. My first note is this has such anime opening energy, complimentary. I dig that. For me, the star of both this and the Seaport City of Ruan song was the bass. The bass in both of these songs is incredible. Like just very complicated and driving and moving. I really was vibing with the bass on both of these. But then, it's funny, I didn't know much about the history in terms of like the platform release of this, but you saying that it came out in 2004, I thought the game actually was older than that. So I have a note here that says the flute sound that first comes in around 25 seconds immediately gives me like mid-2000s PC vibes. And I assumed that this was maybe like a Super Nintendo game or something like that, but knowing, and maybe it was like ahead of its time, but knowing that it came out in 2004 now makes perfect sense, because that's what it makes me think of. Like it makes me think of those like PC Engine soundtracks or something like that. Like in a very good way. I didn't know that this was the battle theme, but I would never get tired of hearing this either.
Yeah, it reminds me in a way kind of like the Mario and Luigi battle themes, where I never really get tired of those ones either, despite how often you hear them. I mean, yeah, obviously the game has like boss fight themes and special battle themes and stuff, but yeah, this is just like the default turn-based combat. It is worth noting that like you don't have to necessarily trigger turn-based combat. Like the modern Trails games, you can just do like action fighting and never go into the turn-based mode.
Okay.
You tend to do way more damage in turn-based, and like you have to do boss fights in turn-based, but if you're just like wanting to get from one area to the next and you don't feel like going through a slightly more slower paced turn-based battle, you can just whack them with the stick out on the field, and you don't hear this version of the song. Yeah, I honestly, I rarely wanted to do that because of how good the song was. I usually was like, yeah, let me get my advantage point and then I'll go into the turn-based combat. Yeah, I don't know, just a really special game to me. Like it made me a fan of the Trails games. Apparently the remake of the second game is out like this year. Apparently it's gonna be out in September or something.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I, as someone that doesn't know anything about these games beyond now the first one, I was listening to our new sister podcast that they don't know we exist, Into the Ether, and they're big Trails heads over there. There's a podcast on their network that's apparently just about the Trails games, and they were saying that the second game in the series is your reward for playing the first game. Like the second game is just like immediately like just off to the races kind of thing. It is like probably, besides Elden Ring on Switch 2, probably my most anticipated game right now. I'm very, very excited for second chapter to come out.
That's cool.
Yeah, and just in general, like the soundtrack, I hope both of these songs did a good job of capturing, like that mid-2000s vibe, because that's what the whole game is. It reminds me of like watching Cowboy Bebop. Maybe Cowboy Bebop is not a good specific example. Watching anime in general on Toonami in like 2003. That's what it reminds me of, and that's the tone of the game is that the even like the colors and the animation and stuff. It's so lovingly made. I think it's a fantastic game. For me, this is like one of the big sleeper hits of the year. I think in a year that was like less packed, this would have had a bigger impact and maybe have been like the game to finally put Trails more on the map for people. But who knows? Maybe that'll be this year with the second chapter. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested in checking it out. And both of these songs were very like cozy, and I guess to get into Seaport City of Ruan, like that was my real. I was taken with how kind of like sleepy and nostalgic it was, like the flute and the accordion and stuff. It kind of reminded me of like Kakariko Village vibes a little bit. What was cool about this song though too is, it makes sense that it's in a seaport town because it has that kind of flavor to it. But then the rhythm is this like marimba kind of rhythm that has like a bossa nova sort of tempo to it. And they work in at, various points of the song, like little hand drums and sitar and stuff, kind of gives it like an islandy kind of flavor. But so that all is very like upbeat, but it plays well still with that kind of with those instruments like accordion and stuff that feel more sleepy and down tempo and nostalgic and stuff. They somehow find a way to take both of those instrumentations and like meld them in a way that feels cohesive. And I don't know, I really liked that a lot. This felt like when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, this is one of those like you're nostalgic for a game you've never even played kind of songs.
Yeah, totally. Completely. Because when this remake got announced, I even listened to some of the original soundtrack, and it instantly, the original soundtrack also gave me that vibe too. The word I kept using to describe like the world in which Trails in the Sky takes place is like pastoral. Like everything is so much more peaceful than in like a Final Fantasy where there's almost always like a war going on, or even like Dragon Quest is closer to that vibe, but it still isn't quite this, because Dragon Quest is more like medieval inspired with like a Japanese take on like European stuff. Trails in the Sky is just straight up like anime, but again like peaceful pastoral anime. And like to paint you a picture, the Seaport City of Ruan is probably basically exactly what you think it is, but there's also like there's like a boarding school nearby, and then there's also this little like mountain village nearby where you order like a special lunch, and like there's a whole cutscene where you're looking out over the ocean on this bench while you're eating this lunch, and there's an orphanage nearby. Like all these tie into the story, but also it just all contributes to this vibe of, I don't know, things are just like low key, like in this, at least until the final chapter, in a way that I don't find with most RPGs. And that was, I don't know, it was very pleasant. It was very I don't know, it was just a nice tonal shift from all. Again, I love Final Fantasy, at least some of them, but none of them have this vibe at all. If they do, it's for like one town or whatever. So to have like a whole game of that, it felt really neat and special. And you basically said everything I have to say about Seaport City of Ruan as a song. I just wanted to note that, the moment I heard this in the game, I paused the game and I went on the computer and I added the song to like my summer playlist. It will live there forever.
Yeah, like this is in that, that Besaid kind of, quadrant, which is high praise. I really liked both of these. I'm excited to play this. It'd be cool to find time to play this before the second one comes out, but either way, next time it goes on sale, I think I'm just gonna grab it.
I mean, it helps that it's on Switch. I'm sure the Switch version doesn't run as well as the PlayStation version or whatever, but hey, there's also a Switch 2 upgrade, so maybe it does.
Yeah, there's a Switch 2 version. I think I'm going to grab that. Another thing that kept me from getting it now is that I've been specifically waiting for the Switch 2 version of Ys 10, which is coming out next month, and I think I am day one on that. I really want to play that, so I think that'll be my sort of, early year RPG, and then, maybe a little bit later, maybe in the summer, I'll grab. This seems like it would be a great summer game.
Yeah,
So.
it is. Yeah, I played it at like the beginning of September, so very late summer, and yeah, it was like literally perfect for that. Yeah, I like my RPGs in winter and summer, and it's perfect for that. My RPG in the beginning of the year I'm gonna be an idiot and rebuy Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch 2. I'm very excited to play that game for the 4th time this year.
Hell yeah.
With that out of the way, we do have our first voicemail.
Yes. Let's get into it.
Hello, Matt and Seth, and to all Bit Harmony fans. I wanted to chuck in my input for OSTs of 2025. And there were a lot of games that I played that had really amazing soundtracks. So it was a little difficult to figure out which ones I wanted to mention here. One was pretty obvious to me because I think a lot of people will potentially have mentioned this in their general Game of the Year talk and all that sort of stuff. That is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The soundtrack to that game is absolutely amazing. I did not think that I would enjoy that game in general, but then to go out of my way to finish it and still be in love with it, that I want to go back and complete it 100% in some fashion. I don't know how long that's going to take me, but good luck to future me when I do play through it. But Laureen Testa did such an amazing job on the soundtrack for Clair Obscur that it had me wanting to listen to it a lot more. And I have been listening to that soundtrack a few times last year after I had finished my playthrough. Granted, I did start playing it a little bit later than a lot of other players, but it was still so cool. I really loved some areas. The main theme of Clair Obscur, which is titled Alicia, that particular track actually plays when you load it up on your PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it's the same on Xbox, but before you even click into the game, that is the song that plays on the sort of homepage, and it's just so beautiful and very sort of somber in a way as well. Very sad. I just love all the very orchestral sound of this whole soundtrack. I think one of my favorite tracks is called Flying Waters, and it has it says it in the name that sounds very much like it's underwater. Has that kind of bubbly feel, sound to it. And I really love listening to that. And then just the vocals in that track as well is really, really pretty. So I do enjoy listening to that track very much. But another soundtrack that I want to mention here as well is for Dark Detective, The Ghost of Glamping. And it's just... you guys will probably appreciate this as well. Just very blues, kind of jazzy soundtrack. It's really awesome considering that it is a detective game, and it's very quirky in the way that it's, in its story and stuff. So I really love listening to the soundtrack of Dark Detective, The Ghost of Glamping. And I think the first edition, The Secret Salami, also sounded very jazzy as well. And a lot of saxophone, a lot of trumpets. Really love those sounds specifically. It always puts a smile on my face, and it makes it sound very noir as well, considering it is a detective game. So I do love the Dark Detective OST. So definitely big shout outs to that game. And a quick honorable mention here for Keeper by Double Fine. I had the opportunity to review this game, and I was it was really nice to play through the game with this soundtrack. It's very chill, very relaxed kind of a sound. And yeah, it's just really nice to be able to play through a game that doesn't really force you to sort of rush through areas. You just explore, and you just couple of it's a couple of puzzles that you need to go through. But the music that plays as you're traveling and exploring, it's very, very chill. So I really loved Keeper. But also just a big thank you to you guys, Bit Harmony. You have had such a really awesome run for 2025, and just in general, I love listening to your podcast, regardless of how long it is. Even if at the beginning of every episode you mention it won't go for long, but then it ends up being like 3-4 hours. But hey, it's totally fine. I love listening to it. It's a lot of fun, and I get to learn more about video game music. So that's really cool. So big props to you guys. Thank you so much for an amazing year of Bit Harmony. And we'll catch you next time.
Well, thank you for the voicemail, Fuya. Yeah, I don't know how long this episode is going to be. Part of me thinks it could be over 4.5 hours long, but at the same time, we're making good progress. We're honestly like nearly a fourth of the way through at this point. So yeah, who the hell knows, as Seth said. Yeah, so we're gonna go on the break for Flying Waters and Campsite 1 from Duck Detective in a moment, but I did want to shout out, I totally forgot about that Double Fine game that came out this year. I listened to a bit of the soundtrack, obviously, since there's some music in beneath Fuya in the voicemail. Pretty cool soundtrack, and also I was very interested in that game. I think I just didn't realize it came out.
Yeah, I think I'll probably, Xbox has been bringing a lot of their stuff over to Switch and Switch 2. Like, I think they confirmed that South of Midnight is coming to Switch 2 and stuff. So I feel like it's only a matter of time for that game to come over as well. And I think that's when I'll probably, give it a spin. I think that they are kind of committing to sort of like a year of exclusivity for a lot of their stuff, and then they'll bring it to like PlayStation and Switch 2. So I think probably later this year, I imagine we'll see that on Switch 2. It looks cool. Like I would like to play it. So
yeah, it looks really neat. You're playing like a spidery, like alive lighthouse, and it like, transforms and so it looks pretty neat. It looks very up my alley, and it's just funny that I think I just didn't realize with how many games came out this year. I guess it makes sense that that I didn't realize it came out. Let's go on a break then. We're going to be playing Flying Waters Go Bleu from Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That is composed by Lorien Testard, and that song is featuring Alice Duport-Percier. And then we're going on a break for Campsite 1 from Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping. I'm so used to saying Japanese names now. Now I have to say Sviatoslav Petrov.
I think you're pretty close with that. Sviatoslav, I guess. Yeah,
Sviatoslav Petrov. But yeah, I was about to say it with like a Japanese pronunciation before. I had to stop myself and be like, no, this is not a Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Normally you're having to pronounce Japanese names. Now you got French, and this looks Russian to me. Or Polish, maybe?
Oh, yeah, Polish, maybe. We have plenty of Japanese names to say in the next couple breaks, so we'll get there eventually. But anyway, that's going to be Flying Waters Go Blue from Clair Obscur and Campsite 1 from Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping, and we will return. And that was Flying Waters Go Blue from Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and Campsite 1 from Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping. We finally get to talk about Clair Obscur. This is just like the episode of The Office where Toby gets to, he's leaving and Michael is going to give him an exit interview and he's going to give him a rock. He's as his parting gift. He's been cruising for a bruising. Clair Obscur has been cruising for a bruise on Bit Harmony.
Yeah, it kind of has. Yeah.
Okay, all jokes aside, no matter what we might say about Clair Obscur and the reception or whatever, I don't even know if we're going to get into it, but the soundtrack of Clair Obscur is undeniably fantastic. There is still a part of me that, because, Mario Kart World is, I would assume, all of our front runners on the Nintendo side of things for soundtrack of the year. There's still a part of me that wants to give it to Clair Obscur because it's all new stuff. It's not rearrangements and blah, 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 but we don't need to get into that anyway. My point being, Clair Obscur soundtrack, fantastic, amazing soundtrack. And yeah, Flying Waters that's like the second area of the game, basically. It's you have the tutorial area of Lumiere, and then you go through like a forest area, and then this is the next area, if I remember correctly. And this was really where the game sold itself to me, where I really got into it. Like Fulia is saying, like, yeah, it's kind of underwater, but also it's not. Like it, I don't know. It's like you're in an aquarium, kind of like where it's meant to look underwater, but like you are underwater. But yeah, that kind of abstraction and that weird visual design, I use weird for want of a better term, like that's such a hallmark of Clair Obscur, and I think it's super, super strong in this area specifically. Really, my biggest complaint with Clair Obscur is I think the game is never as good again as it is in Act 1, and like this is pretty early in Act 1. But yeah, what an opening salvo when it comes to tone and vibe and just set piece and stuff. I just love that you're in this weird like human aquarium kind of. I just also love like it's kind of beautiful and scary at the same time, which that applies to so much of Clair Obscur and the OST as well. I just like it keeps going back and forth between gentle and forceful with the vocals. Yeah, it's just a neat song. It's just such a neat soundtrack in general.
I completely agree. I mean, I think that, Clair Obscur, I think, is the best soundtrack that released in 2025 for all the reasons that you said. But also, I just think that, like, the story behind that is so cool. Like, Lorien Testard, like, being a SoundCloud musician that they found, I think is really cool. But even beyond, like, that, I think that Clair Obscur, like, even just that main song, that melody, that dun 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 dun, dun, that Lumiere melody, like that's instantly iconic. Like I'll never forget that melody, like and I just think that he crushed it. And you mentioned Alice Dupour-Percier, I guess is their name. She does all of the vocals on the soundtrack, and just amazing. Those like kind of ethereal vocals and the way that this song in particular builds up to that kind of like intense crescendo. Like I don't even know what's being said. Like I don't know what the vocals are saying, but it sounds cool. I just I don't know. And I agree with you that this is where the game kind of it made me first take notice of the music in the game for the first time, I think, more than just that intro sequence. It was, I think my favorite environment visually. The game, I mean, it feels like, and this is, thematically true, not to get too much into spoilers or whatever, but it feels like you're moving through paintings, like these like abstracted, painted environments. This feels like a strange sort of painterly, coral and seaweed and stuff. And especially since at the beginning of the game, I was always running around as Lune, and Lune just kind of like levitates. So it looks like she's swimming in water that's not there, and even like that effect that water has where it kind of like shimmers and leaves like reflection of the water on the walls. I love that. Like even in like swimming pools and stuff, I just love that, and that is present in this too. And yeah, the song really captures all of those feelings. The thing that I really wanted to shout out is that kind of like submarine sonar sound that it plays on the offbeat. That's so cool. Like when you have that going with like the reverberation and everything, it really does give just a sense of place and scale to that area. It was, yeah, this is definitely a standout in a soundtrack full of standouts.
Yeah, like we said, I cannot praise the Clair Obscur soundtrack enough. It is still something I go back and listen to, especially like the boss fight themes and whatever, just so energetic and good. And yeah, with that submarine sound, not only is that like cool just to use that as part of a song, an element in a song, but like it also fits thematically in a way, because like late in Act 1 there's there's this moment where I don't remember the exact details, but one of the prior expeditions like built a machine that's like a Ferris wheel, but they used it to cross the ocean.
Yeah.
And my wife was watching me play the game at that point, and they're talking about it, and they're talking about using it to get over the ocean as like a vehicle and stuff. And she's like, is this like a bit? Like she hadn't watched the whole game up to that point, like acting like they don't know what a Ferris wheel is. I'm like, no, I think they don't know what a Ferris wheel is.
Right.
Which makes sense, like for multiple reasons, especially when you get further in the game. It makes perfect sense why they wouldn't necessarily know. Now, granted, I don't know if they know what a Ferris wheel is, but they clearly didn't recognize that as a Ferris wheel. But yeah, you bringing up the submarine sonar, I'm like, did they know what a submarine is in Clair Obscur? Probably not. I would assume. I also appreciate you shouting out running around as Lune, because yeah, basically 80% of the game I was Lune. Even though it's funny, she was the character that I understood how to use the least out of all.
Yeah, she got worked out of my party real quick, but I did like running around as her.
Yeah, floating around as her. Yeah, just super cool. She also has some of the real cool outfits. There was like an exclusive Lune outfit in like the late game that's like kind of green and gold. Oh, I really liked that one a lot. Yeah, the Clair Obscur is just weird because it feels weird talking about it now, because 6 months ago when we did our mid-year checkpoint, everything felt good when we were talking about it, whereas we're talking about it now and I'm just, there's like this cloud hanging over it of
nothing
like
feels good anymore.
I mean, it's weird because like it is a fantastic game overall, but like I am so overhearing about it, that I
That's
don't,
what it is.
Yeah, I'm just tired of hearing about it, and so then I don't like that I'm also contributing to other people hearing about it. But at the same time, I feel like probably most people are not overhearing about it, so maybe it's fine. I don't know.
I feel like I need space from it, because I feel myself falling into that trap a lot too, where I'm getting so annoyed at the way people have talked about Clair Obscur. Like, it just got so much meteoric success, which is deserved. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great game, deserved success. I'm happy that it got all the awards it did and blah, blah, blah. But what it has created is all of this discourse around, is it an indie game or not? And does it deserve all of this attention? And, blah, 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 blah. And, there's the use of Gen AI at the beginning of the game's development and stuff. And just, I'm just sick of talking about it. I just need to back away, and I just need space from it to even, I think, properly evaluate it. I'm just sick of it. But I don't want that to kind of like poison the well of what the game does do really well. And so my best sort of tether to that, my best through line to that, is to kind of latch on to something that I think is singularly great about the game, and that is the soundtrack. Like, that's the thing. Removing everything else from it, I feel like I can clutch that pearl of the soundtrack. I do think that is something that I don't need space from that the way that I need space from the game itself.
One of my favorite tweets of all time, this is from like 15 years ago or something, but someone was saying Coldplay is what frat bros say they listen to sound like deep to like girls they're trying to get with. Clair Obscur to me is like what frat bros say like they've played. Kind of. And again, I'm not trying to like condemn anyone that loves this game. It's a fantastic game in a way that Coldplay is not a fantastic band.
Right.
But there is like a certain level where I'm like, oh, like, so y'all have never played Final Fantasy X, huh? Or like y'all have never played Nier Automata, huh? Like, again, I really love Clair Obscur. It's a really good game, but yeah, there's just this whole huge mess around this game now. But I'm glad that Fulia called in for one to talk about it. I think it's super cool because I know that's not something that Fulia is normally like playing a ton of. So she actually, I assume, has not played Final Fantasy X or Nier Automata. So that's cool. I like the idea that she loved the game as much as she did. Hey, even I didn't 100% the game. I looked at what was going on with some of that. I saw the Simon fight. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to finish this. And I don't really want to mess with Simon.
I know a lot of people who are coming into Clair Obscur with very little to no RPG experience. I think that's great. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way that I think it all just boils down to the way that people are carrying themselves online about it. And,
yeah.
You know, like feeling like they have to weigh in on all of this stuff. It has, you know, nothing to do with the game itself. And the people that I know that are playing it, I enjoy seeing their journey through it. And hey, maybe it will encourage them to check out stuff like Final Fantasy X. Don't listen to the internet. Final Fantasy X is not a bad video game. So maybe it'll encourage you to look at stuff like that has like, you know, some of that emotional weight and some of the, even like the combat and the tonality of Clair Obscur reminds me a lot of something like Final Fantasy X. So yeah.
I truly, it's interesting that this game like broke through in a way that I've never seen an RPG that isn't like Pokemon do. I think that's super fascinating and neat. I basically just wish that people on the internet were way less annoying because I have a friend who like doesn't go online ever, like doesn't get on Twitter and doesn't, you know, engage with like the wider gaming community. And he played through Clair Obscur this year. One of my favorite conversations about games I had this year was when he finished the game and we talked about it. And I'm like, yeah,
that rules.
This is so nice to just talk to someone who isn't a damn freak.
Yeah.
That wants to talk about, because yeah, the story of Clair Obscur is cool. And like, as much as I like Act 1 the most, by the end it did kind of wrap back around and had me again, even if, again, I still don't think it was as good as Act 1. But yeah, no, I really appreciate Fulia calling in. I liked having a chance to revisit the soundtrack a bit for this episode. Like I did maybe listen to like an hour and a half's worth of music, even just grabbing Flying Waters for the episode and stuff. So thank you for calling in with that, Fulia. I guess we will stop talking about Clair Obscur, but we do still have Campsite 1 to talk about. Thankfully, this one is a lot more straightforward. There isn't a Duck Detective Ghost of Glamping defense force out there as far as I'm aware, so we don't need to tear anyone down on this one. I mean, yeah, like Fulia said, this is kind of the definition of detective jazz noir. The fact that they've made like pretty straightforward noir soundtracks for multiple silly Duck Detective games is in and of itself pretty funny. Like even the voice acting and stuff is very like the Duck Detective himself has that noir narration going on that I think is very funny. Like the mere existence of these games is a bit in and of itself, but it's a well done bit. What I will say though, and I didn't think about it at first, we're talking about how the instrumentation is pretty traditional for a song like this, but then there's like the bit of the theremin in there that I'm like, oh, what's this going on around 53
Gotta
seconds?
Make it spooky.
But yeah, because it's the Ghost of Glamping. It took me like, I'd say about 30 more seconds from hearing the theremin and being like, what the hell is this doing in here, to be like, oh, the Ghost of Glamping. Okay, that's what's going on.
Yeah, it pretty much tells you everything you need to know there, right there on the tin. Yeah, I mean, I really like these games a lot. I will say this, I'll just say this publicly. I auditioned for a character in Duck Detective that, for those listening to the show that don't know, I'm also a voice actor. And I auditioned for a character in Duck Detective, and that role went to Brian David Gilbert, who also got cast in a role that I also auditioned for in a game called Cabernet. So now I have like a little fake one-sided rivalry with Brian David Gilbert. So I just wanted to say that Brian David Gilbert is now my rival in the voice acting world, and he doesn't even know it. And it's all thanks to Duck Detective. I really want to get cast in a Duck Detective game. I hope that they make these games like every year or two. I really like them. They're fun, and I really want to get cast in one. So here's hoping. There's always next time, I guess.
Sorry,
but yeah, I'm glad.
I'm just Googling Brian David Gilbert's home address. We're going to take care of this.
Go ahead and send the troops after him. No, I mean, look, he's, jokes aside, he's great. He's funny and stuff, but
he's very funny.
but like, it is funny that it's happened twice now that I got passed up for a role that he got. But in any case, yeah, I mean, like this is great. Like, this is just good jazzy noir stuff. It's funny. Something about the instrumentation of this reminds me of like Team Fortress or something.
Okay.
Like the just that kind of vibe, that almost like pulpy, like 50s pulp action kind of vibe a little bit, with the kind of smoky like jazz drums and stuff, and with the theremin. Yeah, making it, giving it that spooky vibe, because it is the ghost of glamping. It is a ghost story after all. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad Fulia shouted it out, because I think that like Duck Detective is just one of those franchises. I hope they just keep them coming. Just, every couple of years I want to play a new one.
Yeah, they have a great formula with it. I assume the first one at least did well enough for them to go ahead and do a second one. So yeah, just it can be gaming's Knives Out, where
totally
we just get in a much less serious manner, but
right.
But yeah, I think they're cool. I still haven't played either of them. I played the demo for the first one like 2 years ago, and then I bought it, and it's just been sitting downloaded on my Switch, and I just still haven't gotten around to it. But
yeah, they're cute.
Yeah, they're just cute. They're just good, cute, fun, little not super serious detective games. And like, I love a good detective game, so I will eventually at least play the first one, since I do already own it. It would be pretty stupid of me to not play it at some point, but
well, the second one's also on the shared all-in account, so you could play that too.
Okay, well then it would be really stupid for me to not play it. But yeah, thank you, Fulia, for calling in. Let's go on our next break. We've got the next Bit Harmony pick for best soundtracks of the back half of 2025, I guess is what we're calling it. We're going to talk about Kirby Air Riders, because of course we are. I make this damn podcast. We're going to talk about Kirby Air Riders for a little bit. We've got Float Islands / Waveflow Waters Alternate, and then Crystalline Fissure from Kirby Air Riders. This was composed by Noriyuki Iwadare, Shogo Sakai, and Akira Miyagawa. And we will, as always, be right back. once again, that was Float Islands or A Wave Flow Walder's Alternate and Crystalline Fissure, both from Kirby Air Riders. Kirby Air Riders is the best Nintendo game that came out this year. It's undeniable. No one can fight me on this. No, I get it. But we have to talk about Kirby Air Riders because I think this game is really, really good, and it does have a fantastic soundtrack. Like, I never played the original Kirby Air Ride on GameCube, so I wasn't going into this with like expectations one way or the other. When this was revealed, I was actually disappointed. I thought we were going to get a new like platformer Kirby, and then it cut to Kirby Air Riders. I was like, oh, they're making another one of these, huh? I loved it. I couldn't get over how clever it is, and I realized the GameCube game was doing this too. But I also, 20 years ago, I think I was too dumb to appreciate it. But I love that it's a racing game where you don't accelerate, and that instead the focus is on braking, and specifically how you brake and how you interact with the environment and the race tracks by braking. Like, I think in much the same way that like Smash Bros is kind of a deconstruction of fighting games, I wouldn't go as far as say Air Ride is a deconstruction of racing games, but it is like a reanalysis of, well, hey, you're always holding the acceleration button anyway, so why are we doing this? Why don't we just take that away? I'm sure there are a lot of like pure gearheads out there that hate the very idea of that. But yeah, for an arcadey little thing like this, I thought it ruled. You played the original also, right? I think we've talked about that on the show before.
Yep. I played the original, and I liked it. It's never been, I think a lot of people herald it as one of the, best GameCube games, and I certainly never held it in that high regard. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, and I had some level of sort of GameCube nostalgia for it. But I thought it was a cool announcement. But to be honest, when they first announced the game, I thought that it was basically just going to be a slightly prettier Kirby Air Ride. And in some ways it is, but what really impressed me about the game was how much they packed into it. Like, it really is a fully formed, fully featured game, and it really does, like, coming into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be the next Sakurai game, but no, like, it does feel every bit as fully featured as something like, Kid Icarus Uprising or Smash Ultimate or whatever. Like, it does feel like the next Sakurai game. And yeah, I agree with you. I like the deconstruction of mechanics in a certain way. I think that maybe is kind of, for my money, Sakurai's like design signature. You mentioned Smash is kind of like a fighting game deconstruction. Kirby is the platformer where you can just float forever. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of into that, I think, kind of taking these complicated genres and putting deceptive depth into very simplified control schemes. I mean, Sakurai bemoaned the fact that he needed Kirby Air Riders to have a second button, So I find that very good and charming and smart. And I had a great time with it too. I still like to get on and play it and get a Santa hat for DDD. Like I like to go on and do like the little events and things, and it's a fun kind of like multiplayer standard to bust out. I had a great time playing it with my nephews over the Thanksgiving holiday, and yeah, no, I loved it.
It was literally what I was doing while waiting for you to be available to record this podcast. Like I was just like, well, I don't know how much time I have exactly. I'll just play some Kirby Air Ride or Air Riders. Sorry. Yeah, I even love the design of the damn machines, of the Air Ride machines. I'm not a machine guy, like I kind of actively don't care about vehicles in real life or video games, but I really like a lot of the designs of these. I love the Swerve Star. That's the one where like you barely can steer it at all, but you can you come to a halt immediately when you hit the brake.
On a dime.
Yeah, and then it accelerates real fast. I love that design. I love actually playing with that one. It's so weird. Man, I could go on and on about this game. I love all the menus. We picked these two songs because they're full featured songs. But like, if I'm being honest, I think my favorite song in the game is like the Waddle Dee shop theme in the road trip mode or whatever. Like it's so good. It's so packed full of character and love at like every corner, basically. We are going to talk about the songs in a second, but they are just like Kirby songs. There's not like a ton to talk about, but I did want to just shout out that like, and this does relate to Float Islands, it also is like a Kirby love letter, specifically to the first like 3 or 4 games, really. Like the Sakurai era of Kirby games, specifically Dreamland and Adventure and Superstar is what it really seems to be harkening back to. I don't want to get super into spoilers, but like the true ending of the single player mode, Road Trip, it ends with like a full-on like boss rush. They've remodeled old Kirby boss fights into a 3D racing game context.
So cool.
It's so cool. But yeah, I just thought it was worth mentioning that too. Also, like, the original Kirby Air Ride, you could only play as Kirby, and in here there's like 20 characters, and for the most part, it's the Kirby characters you want in here. Like, I get to play as Gooey. Like, I basically never play as anyone else. I've always just wanted to be Gooey. That's really all I've ever wanted out of my life. Rick the hamster's in here. The only snub, I feel like, is where's Pitch? Where is that little green dude? I love Pitch. He's my favorite of the animal buddies. But great Kirby, just like fan service. That sounds weird and horny. I swear that's not what I meant.
Fan service has taken on a connotation that I don't like. Y'all know what he means by that.
Gooey has that tongue. Okay, I'm stopping there. Okay, Wave Flow Waters / Float Island. We kind of already talked about it. I love Float Islands. It's one of my favorite like old school retro Kirby songs. I think it is, maybe besides Butter Building, like my favorite.
I was gonna say Butter Building's up there, yeah.
But yeah, I think Float Islands is number 2. And I think this is my favorite arrangement of Float Islands.
That's my first note. I think this is my favorite Float Islands arrangement is my first note.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But like, what can I really say? It's a very good racing game arrangement of Float Islands. The only real note I have is just that, that electric guitar at 52 seconds or so is just, it gets me excited, even though I've played like 60 hours of Kirby Air Riders somehow. That's not even a joke. And most of that's just by myself against the CPU. I'm not even playing online that much beyond when there's events going on. I will just turn this game on and I'll just race through all like 18 of the main racetracks and then just turn it off. Like I don't know, I engage with it the same way I do like Sudoku or something, but this is like a manic pixie Kirby racing game that I
manic pixie Kirby Dream Girl. Yeah. I mean, look, I got weirdly into the road trip mode. Like I got way more. I think I put like 20 hours just into road trip.
Yeah, that's good.
And I can see myself over the years. Like I could see myself going through it with every character. Like I just really enjoyed it. Like putting on a podcast and just going through road trip over and over. Like I genuinely had a great time with that. And yeah, I don't have a ton of notes on the song itself other than yes, I think this is my favorite Float Islands arrangement. It's just, I love how twinkly and happy it is without losing any of that sort of up-tempo, intense like speed that you want from a Kirby song, and especially a Kirby Air Ride song. Mm-hmm. It's just great. It's just great vibes. And I'm really glad that you paired this with Crystalline Fissure, because I think that Float Islands is my favorite sort of retro rearrangement, and I think Crystalline Fissure is my favorite, like, just song in the game in general.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. Crystalline Fissure is hands down the coolest song in the game to me. Again, I don't have like a ton specific beyond that I really like the drums, but I will say, this doesn't come through when you're just listening in audio, but when you're racing on the Crystalline Fissure racetrack, the part where it gets like more hard rock sounding around 101.
Yeah.
It's like timed pretty well because of how Kirby Air Riders works. They kind of know where you are in the racetrack, unless you're being like a complete buffoon, nincompoop ninny, and you're going purposely backwards and doing all this dumb stuff. Like, because you're always accelerating.
Right.
So they kind of know where you are. So they time that transition to the more hard rocky drum focused stuff with you going through this tunnel and then ending up in like the lava area beneath like the crystal stuff. I just think that's really cool that they pulled that off.
Well, it's cool too because they like in the beginning of the song, like you have like reverberated bells and bass, and like it sells up that big like crystal cavern vibe. But then you do get a little bit of guitar in the background that's almost teasing what's coming. Like like when just all hell breaks loose, when it just all goes crazy and you're bursting out into the lava. Yeah, I really like that a lot. And it ends up, I think, just accentuating the gameplay, which is what you want from something like this. It's the kind of thing that you can listen to removed, but in the context of the game, it just hits even harder. And yeah, like, is that not exactly what you want from your video game music?
Right. Like, it's perfectly timed to add to that roller coaster feel that this game is so good at. Like, again, I don't want to like sit here and like badmouth Mario Kart World or whatever. I think Mario Kart World is pretty damn good for what it is, but it's not exciting to me,
Right.
Whereas Kirby Air Riders, especially because I never played Kirby Air Riders, it felt so fresh and different. But yeah, it's funny how the games like take the exact opposite approaches, where Mario Kart World is so open and Kirby Air Ride is so, at least when it comes to the races. I know there's a whole city trial mode we haven't talked about, but if I'm honest, I liked the racing the most. I was kind of shocked that like city trial mode is fun to me, but I mostly just wanted to do the races. I even liked the top down races more than city trial.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't need to spend too much more time on Kirby Air Raiders. I really love this game a lot. I made jokes like in the lead up to this game, like, oh, this will be Nintendo's actual game of the year, and then it ended up being my actual favorite Nintendo game this year. Despite the fact that I'm the Kirby dude, like, I genuinely was joking when I was saying that stuff. I fully expected this to come nowhere near Donkey Kong Bonanza levels. And again, objectively, I realized Donkey Kong Bonanza is a much more like interesting and deep game or whatever. But as a Kirby freak, I couldn't get over how good Kirby Air Riders was. Truly my surprise of the year somehow.
I mean, look, it does not supplant Bonanza for me, but it's not that far off. It's not that far off really at all. I think that I definitely think it's one of the best Nintendo games of the year. I think they nailed it with this. So
yeah, fantastic. If you're a Kirby freak, what are you doing? Go play Kirby Air Riders. I will probably be playing Kirby Air Riders while editing this podcast, if I were to guess.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if we have no other notes on these Kirby Air Rider songs, we can get to our next voicemail.
Let's do it.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Seth. Phelan calling in once again. This time we're talking about the best gaming soundtracks of 2025. I think I've humble bragged about it a couple of times on Blue Sky, how 2025, as far as games go, especially for Nintendo, felt weirdly catered for me specifically. There were a lot of things that just was like right up my alley, one after another. I can't remember the last time I've had a year like that, but as far as games go, it's been a pretty good year for me. Definitely lots to play, definitely lots to be excited about. But when it comes to the best gaming soundtrack of this year, it's still Mario Kart World, which I think is probably a boring answer, considering just how, like, we gave that game its flowers ad nauseum during the halfway checkpoint episode that y'all did earlier this year. So with that in mind, I'm instead going to talk about what I think to be the runner-ups for gaming soundtrack of the year for me, which, surprising absolutely nobody, would be Metroid Prime 4 and Pokémon Legends Z-A. Metroid Prime 4 has been my most anticipated game for the last 8 years, ever since it was announced. I am a pretty big fan of Metroid, and when it comes to the series, I actually prefer the Prime games over the 2D games. So I was super stoked when it got announced, and I'll admit, the game is not what I expected, but I loved it anyway. I thought it was a good time, and of course, a big part of that is the soundtrack. The composer for the game, Kenji Yamamoto, he also composed the soundtracks for the original trilogy as well, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this is actually the first time he's composed music for a game since Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. That might need a fact check, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. But, I want to bring up him specifically because Metroid Prime to me has like a very distinct sound. Like in terms of music, I genuinely can't think of anything that sounds quite like Metroid Prime music, and it's just, oh, I love it. Like the futuristic sounds and like the choirs and the way it all melds together for this amazing atmospheric touch. I cannot get enough of Metroid Prime music. So on that front, I'd like to request that we play the song from Ice Belt after you turn on the power generator. This is actually also available in Nintendo Music for any of y'all that have that app and want to give it a listen after the podcast, perhaps. But I mean, I think that is like the perfect example of like this Metroid Prime style of music that like you just, in my mind, you just don't hear anywhere else. But as for the other game I wanted to talk about, being Pokémon Legends Z-A, again, a lot of y'all know me as a Pokemon guy. This one means a lot to me. Pokemon X and Y are incredibly special games to me, just kind of considering some of the things I was going through when those games dropped. I mean, it was a really big deal. And so Z-A being a sort of follow-up to those games, that's kind of important. Like, that's really important to me. And it has a lot of moments that they really deliver for longtime Pokemon fans, especially those that played through X and Y and, you know, went to all the nooks and crannies and found all the secrets in that game and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, in that regard, Pokemon Legends Z-A did not miss at all. It's not a perfect game by any means, certainly a lot better than some of the more recent games, especially Scarlet and Violet. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game, and once again, I'm going to highlight the music as a reason why. You know, it introduces a bunch of really new and exciting tracks, things like the Rival Battle theme, or, of course, Jacynth Battle theme, which I'm sure somebody else has already requested at this point, while also still throwing in a bunch of, you know, nods to some of the music found in Pokemon X and Y as well. And, you know, that's a great example of some of the moments that it delivered on. There were several times, especially for some of the tracks that get a little nostalgic, where the soundtrack really did make me well up and nostalgia cry a little bit. I can't help it when it comes to this series. It's just how I am. And, you know, more than any other would be L's battle theme, which I'm sure for those that played X and Y is probably obvious as to why that's the case. So I'd also like to request that as well. I'll leave you with one tiny little bit of trivia, by the way, before I send this off. Please consider that the letter L sits very firmly in the middle between A and Z. If you played the game, there might be some symbolism there. Take that for what you will. Okay, just wanted to call in and talk about some of my favorite games this year. Thanks for the show as always, guys, and looking forward to another year.
Thank you for the voicemail, as always, Phelan. Yeah, once again, it's funny. I'm glad we get to talk about Metroid Prime 4 again now that we've had a couple weeks to sit on it. And I know you in particular are very excited to talk about Pokemon Legends Z-A. You've also you're sitting virtually across from a Pokemon hater at this point. So, I'm excited to dive into that in a second here. So I guess let's go on a break then for Ice Belt Power On. It's composed by Kenji Yamamoto, and Pokemon Legends Z-A, the L Battle music. And we will... Oh, hold on. No. I had to read off like 20 names here. Pokemon Legends Z-A, composed by Minako Adachi, Hiromitsu Maeba, Carlos Eiene. That's Insane in the Rain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shinji Hosoe, Ayako Saso, Takahiro Iguchi, Hitomi Sato, Shota Kageyama, and Teruo Taniguchi. Why can't y'all just have diligent track listings for who composed these? Again, Ice Belt Power On and L's Battle theme, and we'll be back. And once again, that was Ice Belt Power On from Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and L Battle from Pokemon Legends Z-A. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad. For one, I positioned all this so we have like a little Nintendo block here of Kirby Air Riders, Metroid Prime 4, and then Pokemon Legends Z-A. Yeah, these are all like the big back half of the year releases from Nintendo. I guess we're only missing Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Glad to have like a little bit more time to talk about Metroid Prime 4, especially in the context of talking about the soundtrack, which I think is like pretty fantastic overall. Phelan mentioned that Yamamoto hasn't done composition work since Metroid Prime 3. And yeah, I think that's right. I mean, he's done like a couple of rearrangements here or there, but I think Metroid Prime 3 was the last time from what I could see that he was listed as the main composer or whatever.
Sure.
Which, yeah, that is cool that he came back. And like, yeah, I think we probably talked about this on the last episode. I already don't remember, but Metroid Prime 4 does such a good job of, it does bring back that Metroid Prime sound that I really love, but it also makes it feel more alien than it ever has before. Like, yeah, it's got that Star Trek space opera vocals going on that I really, really like. And yeah, this song in particular has like real good use of that, but also has such an industrial feel to it that I feel like Metroid Prime games don't usually get into, at least to that degree. If I'm honest, from a gameplay perspective, this was, I remember, the last part of Metroid Prime 4 where I was genuinely really enjoying myself. And part of it was because of how good the music was. Like the industrial sound, the space opera vocals, and the fact that you're in like this snowed in like research laboratory made it feel kind of like The Thing or something.
Yes.
This was such a cool part of the game, and like I said, this is where I finally fully realized, like, oh, so this isn't really structured the way I expected this game to be. And like I had to start coming to terms, kind of like what Phelan said, with this being different than the rest of the games, but still appreciating it on its own merits, which again is mostly like the music and the visuals.
Right. I think that the aesthetics, the music and the visuals are the best parts of Prime 4 to me.
Yeah, hands down.
I think I think the game is beautiful, and I like the soundtrack a lot too. And yeah, this area of the game I think was my favorite from like a gameplay perspective, like in terms of the design of that area. I think I liked it more than any of the other biomes. Like I really liked the forest one as well, but it's just not very long, right? It's like the first one. So this one I think is overall my favorite. But yeah, like, you know, I like that game less the more time I spend apart from it. I think just the more I think about it, but not to take away anything from the music. Like I do think, you know, Phelan mentions that Metroid Prime has a very like singular sound. I agree. That kind of like muted alien sounding monk chants, you know, the haunting sort of whistly vocals, that definitely makes up that signature Metroid Prime sound for me, which I think this game has. One thing that I liked about this, I do like how industrial this is. I have a note here that says Metroid Prime by way of 9 Inch Nails, which has a little bit of that flavor, but I do like that it doesn't go too hard in the paint on that. Like it does still feel like ancient. It does have like, there's a breakdown around 2 minutes 14 seconds where the monk chants really kind of take center stage, which I think is sick. And I don't know. The soundtrack of this is really good, and I did like this part of the game a lot.
Yeah, I even liked revisiting this area the most of all the revisits that you do. Like when you go and you power up the robot once you have like the electric shot or whatever. I mean, again, the whole game has really cool set pieces and stuff. I love I forget the name of the area, but like where you get the viola the first time, like that.
Yeah, the Volt Forge or whatever.
The Volt Forge, yeah, like that is so cool. I love like I don't know, it's so ominous there and cloudy because they're powered by like lightning strikes and whatever. it's one of those. I don't know that I've played any game in recent memory that feels like it has such untapped potential as Metroid Prime 4. It's really such a shame because there's still a part of me that I'm like I kind of want to play this in hard mode and try and get more out of it, but I'm like I know that there's nothing really left
Sure.
to squeeze out of this, but at least I'll still have a great soundtrack to come back to and listen to occasionally. And yeah, we don't need to. We did talk quite a bit about Metroid Prime 4 last time.
Stop, he's already dead.
Yeah, like it's just a shame. It's a shame it turned out this way, but especially, you know, people have been waiting for this game for like 8 years at this point, and then I'm still really pleased with it in terms of the art style, and I think the tone is still good. You know what? Did we talk about this last time? I like the characters. I like Miles McKenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm planting my flag down. I actually think Miles McKenzie is not only fine, I think he's actually a good character. So like y'all can just get out of here with this.
Yeah, I liked them. I thought they were really great and a strong addition to the story. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I think that the game does some things really well. It's not like a bad video game or whatever. It's just when I stack it against the other Metroid Prime games, it is pretty handily my least favorite.
Yeah.
And you know, that's not, again, it's not like a damning condemnation. It's just not the life-changing game that I think people wanted after an 8-year wait or whatever. And at the end of the day, I really am just kind of glad that it exists. It was just kind of nice to play a new Metroid Prime game in 2025, despite everything. So I kind of make the decision to be happy with it ultimately and just kind of step away. Maybe in a year or something, maybe I will replay it on hard like you're talking about to kind of give myself a chance to reevaluate it, and maybe I'll like it more with those expectations more measured. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
It was all worth it for the white suit, even though it's weirdly optional.
It is interesting that that's optional, isn't it? That's probably the best suit Samus has ever had.
I truly think I've been a fusion suit stan for decades, and I think the fusion suit was finally topped with this optional Metroid Prime 4 armor that absolutely rules. And yeah, I think a lot of people probably just aren't going to see it, but I guess that's enough Metroid Prime 4 talk. Let's get to the real meat then. The main note I want to lead off with before letting you take the reins on this one, on L Battle specifically, I mean, is damn, I guess I gotta play Legends Z-A now.
I will be fascinated to know what you think about it when you play it, because I really do love this game. I really enjoyed it. It didn't make my top 10, but it did make my top 15. I really did have a great time with it. And by the way, I completely get where you're coming from and where a lot of other people are coming from who are, sick of Pokemon not taking advantage, not spending enough money on making their video games. And yes, Pokemon fans deserve better and graphics and flat windows and blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. I think that is all valid. At the same time, though, playing the game, I had a great time with it. Removed myself from all of those things. I thought that the Z-A Royale stuff was weirdly addicting. I still turn on the game and just grind out the Infinite Royale stuff because the new battle system is so fun. I love the new battle system so much. It takes that more sort of real-time action flavor that Pokemon Legends Arceus had that I loved so much and gives it more genuine strategy, having to worry about your position and having to worry about the way that certain move types are completely recontextualized. Using a move like Reflect in Pokemon Legends Z-A is now not just something you turn on your turn or whatever, it's like a parry. You have to time it right to when somebody's going to use their attack, and if you're able to get it off right then, it basically is a parry, and it just I just love it. I can't say enough good things about the new combat system. It makes the multiplayer fun to play, because in the multiplayer in this, and I know a lot of hardcore Pokemon fans are annoyed by this, but as a casual Pokemon enjoyer, I love the multiplayer in this. You just go into a 4-player battle arena and just free for all knock each other's Pokemon out. Like it's great. Bringing back the Mega evolutions and stuff is great. I think most of them are really good. But for me, the music is also fantastic. That's nothing new. Pokemon music has always been great, especially in recent years. I think Pokemon has really been nailing the music in recent years. But the story, I thought, was weirdly impactful because, you know, it really does, for all of the derision that's been lauded against or lodged against the Lumio City and the representation of Lumio City. This is maybe the first game that I've played in a Pokemon in the Pokemon series where it really does care about its setting. It really does take its setting and makes it kind of the star of the story. It really is about kind of reclaiming and strengthening this place, this home for people, and what it means to people, and kind of almost taking it back and making sure that it's still good despite all of the bad surrounding it. And I think that it really builds up to a great crescendo by the end where, as Phelan kind of mentions, by the end of the game, the story basically just becomes a straight up sequel to Pokemon X and Y. Like, it flirts with it for a while, but then by the time you get into kind of the back half of the game, it just becomes X and Y 2, basically. And I just thought it was so cool. Some of the story moments are just so powerful and impactful. And yeah, the L battle theme is definitely one of the most emotional songs in the game, one of the most emotional, you know, moments in the game. I mean, taking this character, you know, I don't think it's a huge spoiler if you take one look at the character and see that he's called L. I think you understand that he's Lysander from Pokemon X and Y. Taking that character and really giving him like paying off who was frankly kind of a bad character in Pokemon X and Y, and paying that character off and giving him like a fully formed arc and pathos all these years later in Z-A, I thought it worked beautifully, and it's conveyed in the song. Like taking that Lysander, you know, music leitmotif and making it sound like something hopeful. It makes this character arc feel complete all these years later, and I just love that. Again, I won't overtly spoil what happens with that character and the story and stuff, because I do hope you play it, but it's really good, really strong stuff.
Well, I will say, yeah, we shouldn't spoil, I think, for anyone listening. I did get spoiled based on looking up YouTube comments.
Oh,
and
sure.
Stuff. I think I basically have I
gist.
know 90% of what's going on with it. And I agree with you. What I read and my understanding of it is really damn good and shocking from a Pokemon perspective. And yeah, I want to make it clear, I was joking earlier, I don't hate Pokemon. This is the first Pokemon game I've skipped out on, like, ever, besides some of like the third versions. Like I didn't play Platinum and some of those other ones or whatever, but this is the first like mainline Pokemon game I've skipped. I probably will play it at some point. It was just, here's my thing. I was very excited for Pokemon Z-A after Legends Arceus. Like, that was the best Pokemon game I'd played in a while. And I'm like, okay, whereas other people were kind of down on the concept of a Pokemon game set in one city, I was like, this could actually be amazing. Because my thing is, like, Scarlet and Violet, the cities look like garbage. They're literally just cardboard things. Like, they're just sticking out of the ground. Like, they're nothing. It is just plastic buildings that are just there to represent a thing, but no like thought put into it. And then I said to myself, okay, if they're just setting it in Lumios, that's like the perfect excuse to spend a lot of time just modeling one city and like really doing cool stuff with it. And then it turns out that they did not do that, and they still just have this kind of like nothing place, you know? Like, when I say nothing place, I think the city is a cool, like, that circular design it has going on with the tower in the center. I think that's all great. I can't get over how empty it looks and feels. I don't even care about like the buildings. I see what people are saying, and I do agree that it looks bad that the buildings are flat, but I don't even care about that. I'm just like, there's like no people around ever. Like it's hard for me because I look at something like Pokemon Snap and like this captures what it feels like to be a person in a world that has Pokemon in it. And then I look at Pokemon Legends Z-A, I'm just like, oh, this captures what it feels like to be playing a game where you're capturing Pokemon. And that's basically it. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from anyone. I think what people have said about the game intrigues me. I think also Galarian Farfetch'd was added in the DLC, which instantly made me way more interested in playing the game also. It's just, I had this initial disappointment when they finally revealed footage of the game. I'm like, oh, like they're doing this again. They didn't actually fix the thing that was most bothering me about their world design and stuff, and they just did it again. You know, Arceus, super smart design. I thought the whole point of Arceus being set in the past was so that they didn't have to make buildings because they don't know how to do them. But no, apparently that was just a coincidence. It was just a happy coincidence. But I think I love the concept of a Pokemon game that is doing a completely new battle system. Like, I do want to play it just for the battle system, basically. And
It's
again,
great.
I love actual Pokemon designs and stuff. Like, I'm not fully joking when I saw someone streaming this and I saw they had a Galarian Farfetch. I'm like, God damn it! Like, they got me again. These sons of bitches got me. I love Galarian Farfetch and Sirfetch'd. It just, I never quite got over my disappointment with like the actual reveal trailer of the game to get around to getting it. But I basically guarantee at some point I will play this, and I'm glad that the soundtrack is even better than I expected it to be, because my expectations for Pokemon soundtracks are always to the moon at this point. But like, I was expecting excellence, and I was still not expecting this L battle,
Dude.
And
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's amazing.
you should listen to more of the soundtrack too, because like Insane in the Rain, you know, like working on the soundtrack is evident straight away. Like even just the main Lumio City theme, which as you can imagine is a rearrangement of the Lumio City theme from X and Y. It's so much more textured in this. And like at night, like having that sort of saxophone arrangement of it, it's just, I just love it, man. It's like one of my favorite. If we were to sit down and do like our top 5 favorite single songs, the nighttime Lumio City music would be in my top 5 favorite songs of 2025. I think, just really good stuff.
That could be a good mini. We're just going to continue planning.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just it's really good, and like I said, I ended up loving the game despite everything, and I feel like it has become a little bit of a punching bag, and not enough people are vocally championing the game. I think that aside from the setting, I think I like it pound for pound more than Arceus. Like I think the setting is really the only thing I like less, and even then, it really is just visually, because I thought navigating Lumio City was really fun, and I love the tie-in that had. It really was very important to the story, and I, if it just looked better, then I think nobody would have any issues with it. So,
I agree. To that point, though, that's how bad it looks.
Sure,
that like, as me a lifelong Pokemon fan, I still can't get over.
I get it.
I don't like to compare things, but like, because again, I was defending this game's announcement that it took place in just one city before we actually saw it. And I'm like, dude, the Yakuza games always take place in 1 or 2 cities, and like Kamurocho is one of my favorite video game areas of all time. Like, I love that I've revisited it like 9 times now, and there's always something new going on. It's not that big of a map. There's always something new going on. I loved the idea of revisiting Lumios and having a whole RPG set in just one city. I think that's a cool idea conceptually. I just wish it looked different. I just wish it didn't look like that, basically. But
I do wonder, like when you play it, I wonder how much that will matter to you in the moment. I wonder.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know me, I am like a gameplay first person,
Yeah.
generally speaking. Not all the time, obviously, but I also want to mention, I don't like that you do all the platforming with a Rotom phone. I don't. I like Rotom, and I even like the Rotom phone conceptually. I just don't like that, like, you fall down a building and then you grab onto the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That is dumb, but you know what? Like, I kind of like it. It's like, it's kind of fun, like, because you do have to do this dumb, janky stuff. Like, you have to, like, roll off a building and then activate your Rotom phone to get a little extra distance. Like, some of the platforming I actually kind of really like. And there are even some little, like, platforming challenges that ramp up kind of towards the end of the game. And I kind of dug it, weirdly, because when I first started playing the game, I was like, damn, I wish I had, like, a mount to get around the city more quickly. But the more I played it, the more I appreciated that I was having to kind of hoof it everywhere. And I don't know, like get to know the streets. Like, I kind of do know my way around Lumio City at this point. And anyway, we probably talked about Pokémon Legends Z-A way longer than we should, but I do really love that game.
I look forward to playing it in like 7 years when it gets a $20 off sale on the eShop.
Yeah.
Let's go on our next break then. We are going to talk about Skate Story, and to lead into that, we've got 2 songs from the Skate Story soundtrack to play for you. We've got Where the City Can't See and Unarchiver in all caps. These are both songs by Blood Cultures, who did a decent chunk of the composition work on Skate Story. Again, Where the City Can't See and Unarchiver from Skate Story, and we will be back. Once more, where the city can't see, an unarchiver from Skate Story. So I have no idea how this conversation is going to go. I don't know what Seth knows, if anything, about like Skate Story. About I know you know it exists and that it's a game and that like it's cool. It's a cool looking game, but I don't know how much like actual like post-release stuff you've read about the game or seen about the game or anything. Before we even get into that, I just want to say the first note I have for where the city can't see is just man.
Yeah. It's really good. I mean, yeah, I kind of somewhat intentionally don't know that much about it beyond the trailers and stuff. I do have it downloaded. It was on PlayStation Plus. Like it is on my PS5 and I want to play it. It is pretty high up my list of stuff to get to here early in the year before things really start popping off. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to this yet. I do want to play it, and this was my first real exposure to the music. And yeah, I mean, man, sums it up pretty well.
Obviously, like Blood Cultures is like a group or artist or whatever, like separately from the game. Like they're a well-known.
I'd never heard of them before.
I had never heard of them until the trailer for the reveal trailer for Skate Story from like 3 years ago, and so
Yeah.
I've listened to some of their stuff over the years. I really like basically everything I've heard of theirs, but I've never done a deep dive into it. Like, yeah, Skate Story is the first quote unquote album of theirs I've listened to. It's just incredible. I truly, I think this actually might be my soundtrack of the year. It's just hard to say that when again it's like technically like a license. It's not licensed, like they
Right.
made songs for the soundtrack, but it feels weird to say that, you know, but I don't know. So imagine how cool this music already is. But then you're like skateboarding through this like underworld that is like super psychedelic, and you're a demon made out of glass and you're doing skateboarding tricks, but also it's not like Tony Hawk, like it's grounded down to earth skateboarding. Like you're not doing like 7 flips in the air and rotations. Like you barely almost ever have the time to do more than like one twist or whatever. Like you're not going to be grinding like half a mile on your skateboard. It's that like that dichotomy between how relatively grounded the skateboarding feels and then how psychedelic the entire world around you is and how obtuse some of it is, and then you have this damn soundtrack at every turn, and then you're trying to the whole plot of the game is you sign a contract with the devil that you're going to eat like 7 moons down in hell. And so like these bigger moments where you're doing these boss fights, quote unquote, against the moons, that's often where you're getting like the full on like Blood Culture songs like this. It is the coolest I've felt playing a video game, I'm gonna say, since like the original Beautiful Joe. Like that's how damn cool I felt, even though like I'm just a fat hairy man on the couch playing a video game, right? It felt transcendent in that way. I will also say I think you would like this game even more than I do, and I like it quite a bit. It does have some like objective issues. Like this is not a game you're gonna like come back to and replay over and over for the gameplay. When it says Skate Story, it's more of a story than a skating game. Like the narrative is the focus of the game. It gets so into like self-loathing and finding your place in the world and like how rebellious it is to even just be alive.
Mm-hmm.
I like even right now I'm getting kind of teary-eyed talking about it, and I was full on like I was having to pause the game at various points while I was playing it the first time. There is just something so, you know, I forget what we were saying this about. We were saying like AI couldn't make this. I don't remember.
Right.
Maybe it was even about like the Upgrade Terminal podcast. I don't remember.
I think that's
But-
right. Yeah.
But like AI couldn't make Skate Story, despite the fact that it is like a weird hellish landscape and it all looks off. But you can tell a human made this thing.
Yeah.
It is glorious. It is the further away. It's like the opposite of Metroid Prime. The further distance I get from it, the more I'm like, I think Skate Story is actually like way better than I was giving it credit for right when I was done with it, because I keep thinking about it, and that doesn't happen for me with every game. And the main way I keep revisiting it right now is just through the soundtrack. I keep listening to the damn soundtrack, and I wouldn't even say these are either of my favorite songs in the soundtrack either necessarily, but the whole soundtrack is just so good that this is just what I landed on. I'm like, yeah, give me like a lighter song and a nasty song. That's what I wanted for the Skate Story songs.
How long was it?
I finished in less than 8 hours, but I was also like really taking my time. Like when you're doing the story, it's divided up into chapters, and if you're not sure where to go, you can just hit right on the D-pad. It just shows you where to go and what to do.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just never doing that because like there's all these like little bonus trick areas you could do to get more points to like buy decks for your skateboard and stickers and stuff. I was just enjoying the vibe so much that I was just doing those all the time. You could probably beat this like 5 to 6 hours pretty easily if you're just mainlining it, is my guess. It is a singular experience. I was trying to say this to someone else recently. It's like an interactive music video, but for like the coolest damn music video you've ever seen.
Well, I think that video games are very a very untapped, like there's a lot of untapped potential with that, I think. Like even just hearing you describe it, it kind of reminds me of something like a Sayonara Wild Hearts. Which is a game that I love. And even I know what you mean when you're talking about, like we did a whole episode on Tetris Effect, and I think that's another game in which it's like the gameplay and the music are so like synonymous. Like Luminous Arise is another game that came out this past year with an amazing soundtrack that feels like that great marriage of the gameplay with the music, making you feel an emotion. But it's like, it's not something that happens that often in video games. And I feel like we should be seeing way more stuff like this. And yeah, like even just hearing you talk about it now, I think it has moved up I think I'm playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo right now. I think Skate Story is going to be next up after I finish that. That sounds great.
I'm not guaranteeing that you're gonna like love it. Like this isn't like Anodyne 2 or anything like that,
sure.
Right? But it is like I think this is probably gonna hit you because you're also more into like I've never been like into skateboarding culture. Like
I was huge into it when I was younger. Yeah,
exactly. Like my main entryway into skateboard culture was the Tony Hawk games. So like
right,
this feels so personal to people that grew up not just around skateboarding, but just like punk stuff in general. But also the way I connected with it is just because I've always felt like I don't connect with most of the people around me. Most of the people don't understand me and whatever. And yeah, like the whole end sequence of the game, I don't know, it goes places I've almost never seen video games go. And this is not a joke, and we're also going to get into, there's a crazy YouTube comment we have for one of these songs, but like it genuinely reminded me of how beautiful it is to like be alive and fighting. Because also that's the thing is, we've talked about this before, when it comes to like politics in the current world we live in, I'm way past the point of being sad. I'm just like angry all the time.
Yeah.
And like this felt like a genuine way to get that frustration out. Again, I do want to say there are like objective issues with the game. I think sometimes the camera is like too low to the skateboarder, and like because of how dark the entire world is, because of how it's designed, sometimes you're doing stuff and like I just don't even see like a curb in front of me, and then I just skate right into it. I just whiff and my dude just explodes or whatever. It's not like a skill-based game really though, so it doesn't really matter, but it can interrupt like your flow state and how good you're feeling about what you're doing or whatever. But like it's definitely not meant to be like like a skill-based, you're gonna perfect this game kind of thing. Now I have seen people posting pretty cool like trick videos and like skating across the entire environment in ways I didn't even know were possible, but that's definitely not the focus, especially if you don't want it to be.
I mean that all sounds great. I'll say one last thing before I talk about the actual songs.
Yeah.
The skateboarding, I think my favorite thing about skateboarding is that it really does feel like an inert, like, connection to the world around you. Like, you feel connected to the ground in a way that you don't when you're just walking. Something about just even feeling like the grit of the concrete under the wheels, like it feels like you're really connected truly to the world and like the ground under your feet. It's a very grounding thing, which I think I really always appreciated about skateboarding. It was very meditative for me in a time of my life when I really needed that. So the idea of this game kind of tapping into that sounds very appealing. Have you ever seen the video of the guy on like a longboard with drinking the ocean spray?
I knew exactly what you were going to bring up the moment this conversation started.
I love that video. I think it's such a vibe, and like I've never seen a video sum up the vibe of how like freeing and connecting skateboarding can be than that video of just this dude happily longboarding in the sunset in like California while Dreams by Fleetwood Mac is playing, and he's just drinking ocean spray straight out of the bottle. Like, I love it. Anyway,
yeah, that's like 2019's like video of the year. Like that was everywhere, and it was one of the few times I was thankful it was everywhere. Because that video rules.
Yeah, so good. That's what skateboarding is, and to hear, this has moved right up. This has shot up my sort of backlog here. But when it comes to the music though, I really, this was my first real exposure to the music of this game, and really Blood Cultures in general. I am instantly interested in going through their catalog. It is not what I expected when Where the City Can't See first starts. For some reason, the first thing it made me think of was the Evangelion, like, Fly Me to the Moon, you know, like, but then of course, like it's low key for like a minute, and then it gets just funky as hell, and it doesn't really lose that kind of quiet, ethereal, almost lo-fi thing. But it kind of becomes like this, I don't know, East Coast hip hop meets like lo-fi beats meets like this kind of angelic, like there's like harp strumming and stuff. It definitely sounded like the kind of thing you would want in your ears when you're riding a skateboard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have too many specific notes other than like it's crazy that there's harp in here.
Yeah.
And a very fun thing with the official Blood Cultures YouTube channel is they have fun with the closed captioning. It's like there's like a narrator in text only form talking to you.
I love it when people do that. Yeah.
Theirs are very, very good, and there's some real good ones in both of these songs. Near the end when, they're bringing, like, they're mixing in the subway voiceover work and then going into the harp. It's like, nice drop, kid, but I bet you're not gonna dare to bring back the subway voiceover stuff. And then it does like a mind blown emoji. So it's very, very fun. But also that part of the song specifically is like my favorite part. Like I felt like sweaty and I had chills at the same time at various points, I guess for both of these songs, but specifically when the lyrics are going from always haunted by the memory of what was once such a great civilization to like the drums coming back in at that point. I was like, oh, like I stood up. I had to like walk it off at that point. Incredible song.
I wrote that lyric down too.
Yeah. I don't even know that, like, I would say either of these are my favorite off of the soundtrack. Like, that's how good the whole soundtrack from Blood Cultures is. Like, they're all this level or higher.
I'll say both of these songs made me feel like the vibe that both of these songs gave me were like a connection to the world around you, but also a connection to like the like urban connection in particular, like city, like, I'm from Chicago, which I think has come up on this podcast a couple of times, and I definitely resonated with this song and the lyrics, and especially the stuff that has been going on in Chicago until very recently, where it's been like straight up under like occupation, basically. You know, feeling like this city that I have a lot of love and attachment to is kind of literally under siege. Up until very recently, that I definitely had. I was thinking of that when listening to this, and then when it comes to Unarchiver, like it's that, but it almost feels more personal. Like I wrote down lyrics from both of these, and it's not the kind of music that you would suspect the lyrics would be a star of. There's 323 in Unarchiver, kind of coming into the end. They get into this refrain of, "Don't you let the demons come and break you into pieces. When you crash into the street, are you still down and out defeated?" And I was just like, damn, dude. Like, I don't know, like it's just such a like weirdly hopeful, but like there's a melancholy to it and a sadness and a love all at the same time. Like just the emotions that they convey with both of these songs. Like I want to drive off into the sunset while while this music is playing. I have a playlist that I just call my chill drive playlist, and both of these songs were added to my chill drive playlist.
Yeah, I know what you mean about like it seems like they love New York. Like that's their city, that's where they're from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, they have fun with the closed captions, and like at the beginning of Where the City Can't See, it's like doing like a montage of New York, and the closed captions like, damn, what is this, an ad for New York City or something? Which is very good. And then yeah, in Unarchiver, like the closed captions start celebrating Zoran Mamdani's win as mayor in there and stuff. Like that's the kind of art that this is. Like again, not just this music or these songs, but Skate's story in general. It is defiant, it is rebellion, it is like wanting you to find the fire within you, and I think that's really
I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very powerful. Again, it's like probably the game that I'm still thinking about the most from.
You might need maybe another mini. Maybe you need to pencil that one in for a minute.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, all right. I wish I actually literally had a pencil right now. It'd be helpful.
I mean,
I've got so many.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be perfect for Patreon because we don't have to worry about the licensing stuff.
But yeah, I think that's most of what I had. I mean, yeah, I was all over the place with my notes on these two songs in particular. Though I wanted to know if it wasn't clear, yeah, Where the City Can't See was like the lighter, more friendly song, and then Unarchiver was like the muddy orgy scene in the Matrix Reloaded nasty song that I was talking about before.
Dude, that's one of those scenes, like I remember like where I was when I saw that scene. That scene affected me profoundly when I was a kid, and not in a good way. Like I think that was sort of my first like I don't like this makes me feel uncomfy.
It's funny, they just referenced that scene on an episode of Pluribus, and that was one of the first times I've ever heard anyone else reference that scene before, and I was like, oh, thank God that other people remember how crazy this scene was.
Like I remember, I can picture it so vividly, the shot and everything. Like I remember seeing that when I was like a young, teenager, however old I was when that came out. And just like being just so negatively, like I had like a scowl on my, like it made my stomach feel upset to watch it.
It was just weird. It was just a weirdly placed scene, and Anyway, whenever we say we're not going to go on tangents, that's when the worst ones happen.
That's when the Matrix orgy starts.
Yes, when the Matrix Reloaded just happens. We do have one more voicemail. This one actually from my wife. I surprisingly, she'll get into it when we play it, but I wanted to talk about Infinity Nikki again, but she's like the best person in the world. And so I asked her if she would please record something about that for the podcast. And surprisingly, she was like very excited to do it. I've never seen her that voluntarily. She's like, yeah, let me tell the world about Infinity Nikki right now.
Hell yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear it. Let's go ahead and play it.
Hi, I'm Tosh. I'm here to talk about Infinity Nikki and
She sounds
specifically
excited.
the soundtrack. And so the song I chose is from the new update, the 2.0 update, which is huge. And they added tons of new songs. And this specific one is playing in a dungeon, the Mother's Room's Dream. And there's just a few songs where they edit like lyrics, but it's not like a real language. This specific song that you're listening to or gonna listen to is at the very end of this dungeon, and you like jumping onto jellyfish, and it's very dreamlike and very beautiful. And then this song starts playing, and it actually like gave me shivers, and like I got a little bit teary-eyed. And at some point you're just like, when the platforming section is over, you're just standing on this giant jellyfish, and the camera is zooming out and showing you like this beautiful cave and landscape, and it's just amazing. And I hope you like it. And if you do like this a lot, then I recommend playing this game, maybe because just for the soundtrack, because it's one of the best soundtracks I've ever listened to in any video game, and it's for free. So if you like platforming and open world games and exploring a huge beautiful open world, then I think you should just give it a shot. It's a gacha game, and I understand if you don't want to support that maybe, or don't like that, but you don't have to spend any money to like enjoy this and play the story and do all the dungeons. The game is just giving you everything that you need. So there's really no reason to not play it, especially if you like Breath of the Wild and games like that. So I guess that's it for me.
She had a mic drop moment there. I swear to God, we're not sponsored by Infinity Nikki.
Hell yeah, I'm so glad she did that. Thank you, Tosh, for doing that. You could literally hear her excitement to talk about the game, like in her voice. That was so nice.
I always feel like I have to convince her to come on, like when we did the Yokai Watch and the Xenoblade one. Like I always feel like she's doing me a favor. She has brought up multiple times that she wants to come back and do a full Infinity Nikki episode.
Oh yeah.
So I think that probably is going to happen at some point in 2026. But for now, you'll just have to deal with this taste of Vanya Fly Away from Infinity Nikki. We are going to pair that song with, we had another request in the Discord. It wasn't a voicemail from Third Strongest Mole, Sam. He was requesting a song from Octopath Traveler 0. The Bestower of Wealth is the name of that song. So we've got Vanya Fly Away from Infinity Nikki. I will say, real quick note, last year when we covered Infinity Nikki on the year-end podcast, we could not find any solid information who composed whatever. They do officially upload all of these songs to Spotify and YouTube now, which is very, very handy.
That's growth. Yeah,
and they actually they list the specific composer for like every song now. It's super nice. In this case, I can't say who it is because it's in Chinese characters. So I'll just say that the composer in this case is Fold Echo. And then when it comes to Octopath Traveler 0, that was composed by Yasunori Nishiki. So again, that's Vanya Fly Away and the Bestower of Wealth. And we will be back. And that was Vanya Fly Away and Bestower of Wealth. So, with Vanya Fly Away, I don't have that much to say about the song beyond that it is just super like ethereal and beautiful and whatever else. Like, we talked about it last year, but Infinity Nikki, it feels like it has all these inspirations from all over the place, like Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, but also like Nier Automata of all things. Like, it feels like Infinity Nikki is like a free-to-play gotcha dress-up game that's taking like everything from the best parts of some of the best games you've ever played. You know, it's weird. It's weird that it's as high quality as it is, considering what the game actually is. But when my wife is comparing it to Breath of the Wild, it's not a joke. Like, the game is genuinely full to the brim of just like love and attention to detail, but it's also this ode to like femininity, and it feels like the people that made this game grew up playing Barbie or playing with Barbies and wishing that there was like a good Barbie video game, you know, because that's really what this game is at its core. It's an open world adventure platformer, but also you can make Nikki look super cool or cute or sexy or whatever you want to dress her up in. When it comes to this Vanya Fly Away moment, it is a super powerful moment in like the story of 2.0. Like, this giant mother shroom is what it's called. Like, you in 2.0, you go to this new area. Like, they added a whole new continent or region of the game, and it's a much more like wild area. Like, there's not like it's way more like tribal inspired, basically. And the main NPCs that live there are these shroomlings, like anthropomorphic mushroom dudes. They're just as cute and dumb as you think. And then they worship, or I don't even know if it's worship, but like they're kind of governed by the mother shroom. But the mother shroom has been like poisoned, and it's been asleep for a long time. And this is not me exaggerating. The mother shroom was poisoned so that this like Inquisition group can come in and push their religion onto the shroomlings now that the mother shroom is out of the picture, right?
Yeah.
And so this is Nikki's like first instance of actually having some kind of communication with the mother shroom, and that is the song, the lyrics that you're hearing. There is a lyric video officially uploaded by the Infinity Nikki channel where they translate the lyrics. I won't read them or anything here. I think this is kind of one of those cases where it's more beautiful to just hear the emotion and not hear like the literal intent or whatever. But it's probably basically what you think it is anyway. But yeah, this is just like a gorgeous area of the game. Like, I would encourage you to look up that lyric video if you're interested from the song. It shows like the actual game being played and shows Nikki like rising up on this like floating jellyfish upwards and stuff. But yeah, I'm always grateful to have an opportunity to shout out Infinity Nikki, because I feel like no one talks about this in like the games press. I don't hear anyone ever talk about Infinity Nikki.
It is weird.
Yeah. You know, they just added this 2.0 update, or they just updated the game to 2.0. Dude, they changed like the verb set. Like, you have a hook shot and a bow and arrow and stuff now. Like, the game's different now. It's weird, but it's super cool. And yeah, for how high budget and how high quality it is and how amazing the soundtrack is, it is very weird that like Bit Harmony is your official source for Infinity Nikki news every year.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's always great. Like, and anytime you send me or we play on the show for one reason or another some Infinity Nikki music, I'm like, damn, dude, this is the good stuff. And what's funny is like, I feel like exactly what Tosh described in her voicemail is like exactly what I had in my head when listening to this song with no context, like caves, glowing like mushrooms and stuff. Like like the song made me think that. And I feel like I could have arrived at that even without her giving me the context, It just sounds like that. One thing that I really like about the song are the little minor key movements that it has. Like, it gives the song a certain like mysterious or somber texture that I really like. It just makes the song more than just like pretty and twinkly and stuff. But yeah, it's the vocals. The vocals are what really sends this over the edge, especially when the music starts to swell at like a minute 41. It got my ass at that point. That's when it got me. Did you ever play Sky Children of the Light?
No.
Did you ever play that? It's the new it's the latest That Game Company game. It was like their follow-up to Journey. It's not that good. But it is interesting. Like it's a weird like social platform where you can like do these weird little vignettes with other people. Basically, it doesn't really have like a, I don't know, like a traditional story, but you're playing with a bunch of other people. And anyway, I played it a little bit. The main reason I came back to it a couple of years ago, they did a collab concert with Aurora, who I love Aurora, and that's what this made me think of. Like, there's a moment in that collab concert where it's just, you know, Aurora is singing, very ethereal, pretty vocals, and you're just flying around as a jellyfish in a giant cave with a bunch of other, you know, players who are also jellyfish. And, like, it just feels like this big connecting moment in this cave with a really pretty, maybe it was playing Runaway or something, I don't know. And that's what this made me think of, this song. The vocals immediately made me think of that moment, and that I think also informed what I was kind of thinking of with this song.
You know, it's interesting. I knew what the Sky, with Children of Light or whatever. I know of that game, but I never played it myself, and I never really heard anyone talk about it. It is, I guess I could see how you get there from, like, the most memorable part of Journey to me, is the fact that the one time I played through, I got grouped up with someone and we played like the whole game together, and then we lost each other in like the last glorious flying section. I got teary-eyed because we got separated like a little bit earlier than we should have, you know. It's funny, I can see how you get to Sky Children of Light from there. Like, everyone loved the multiplayer stuff, so let's just make a whole game more built around that. But then that kind of loses the magic when you do that, you know?
Yep.
Funny enough, Infinity Nikki, at some point in the past year, I don't know exactly when it happened, they had a big multiplayer update. And like different Nikki's can like come and hang out. Like, you also have your own home building island now, and like you can come and like visit other Nikki's house, and you can play multiplayer games together. There's like platforming puzzle segments that you can only do in multiplayer and stuff. The game is very different than it was when we talked about it a year ago, and I think it's a much more interesting and fully fleshed out game. I'll also shout out that my wife has made like friends on Infinity Nikki, because now that they added the multiplayer stuff,
that's so cool.
Like, she has like a few people that like when there's some kind of like meteorite that like comes down, like hits your island every once in a while, and it's random, but you get like rare materials to gather from the meteors. When that happens, the meteor stays for like a day, and so other Nikki players can come to your island and also mine the meteor or whatever. And so she has like a group of people that like whenever one of them has the meteor, or they're messaging each other, they added like a runway. Like, you compete in quotes, like they'll give you a theme, but like the game can't like judge you because that's not what it's built for. But like, it's mostly just meant as a social thing. Like, you go and you make an outfit to fit the theme, or don't fit the theme if you don't feel like it, and you just do like a runway walk, and then like other players are there to watch, and like they can like emote and clap and stuff. And
that's Dress to Impress, right? It's that same, taps into that same thing.
Yes, but in like a more pure-hearted way than Dress to Impress, like a more innocent way, I think. Again, I'm not trying to like, Dress to Impress is very funny from what I've seen, but you're not building like the Twin Towers in Infinity Nikki outfits or whatever.
Sure.
I guess maybe you could, I don't know. But my wife, she made like a Sailor Moon outfit and walked down the runway with it. And then one of the people that was there watching instantly started messaging her and was like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit so much." And they're typing
That's
back and forth.
awesome.
I had to grab, because my wife is playing this on the PS5. I grabbed our USB keyboard for her to plug into the PS5 so she could talk to them better. And that's like one of these like friend group people now. Also, the person like came to her world and then was like wanting to do a photo shoot with my wife in her Sailor Moon outfit and stuff. Like that's the kind of game
Hell
this
yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's all organic. It's not like my wife was like hunting for this. She was just happy to be playing this game. But like,
remember when the internet was good?
yeah,
Like,
we've gone from Miiverse being the last vestige of the good internet to now Infinity Nikki is. But at the same time, I feel like the reason Infinity Nikki is so pleasant is because it's like I assume like a 80 to 90% like female base, right?
Right.
And so I hope all you Bit Harmony listeners out there, all you stinky men, you don't go and flood the Nikki servers now with your manliness or anything.
Yeah, don't do that.
If you play Infinity Nikki after this, just keep it chill, keep it low key. It's fine. I know that's very hard for all the Joe Rogan listeners out there that also listen to Bit.
Yeah, the cross section, the strange cross section that we've arrived at. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was worthwhile. It's fun. I'm sure if we end up doing the Infinity Nikki episode, my wife will bring those things up again. But she could tell the story better. They happened to her. But
I love that so much.
Yeah, Infinity Nikki continues to be like really special and neat. It's not going to be for everyone, but it is a very high quality one of these. Did we have any other notes on Vanya Flyaway?
No, I'm excited to talk about this Octopath Traveler 0 song, and I want to say that this is exactly what I was hoping for when we put out the call out for community submissions, because like you and I can't play certainly or listen to everything, so I really appreciate Sam for bringing this one up to play on the episode, because it definitely would not have been here otherwise.
Yeah, I have not listened to any of the Octopath 0 soundtrack. I mean, I've played like 60 hours of Octopath Traveler 2, and yeah, that had an amazing soundtrack, but yeah, I just haven't gotten around to checking basically anything out from 0 beyond this song. I have had the demo downloaded on the Switch 2 for over a month at this point, and I keep meaning to play it, and I just never get around to it. I've heard nothing but great things, especially when it comes to the writing, which is such a joy to hear, because I think the writing is the worst part about the first two Octopath games to me.
Yeah.
And so to hear that from multiple sources that the writing actually seems pretty good in this new one is very exciting. Like you fix the main issue I have with Octopath, but keep the best parts about it, especially how good the damn soundtracks are. That's very exciting. Yeah, this song was so good. Especially once it really got going, like that classic Bit Harmony Boys horn drop around like 114. Like I loved it. It made me want to play an RPG. Not even just Octopath 0, though again I do want to get to that, but it much like Trails in the Sky first chapter, this has that RPG feel to it. It just makes me want to sit down with a blanket and play an RPG on my Switch for like 80 hours.
Yeah, it's like I've heard a lot of people calling Octopath Traveler 0 like one of the most underrated games of 2025, and like it did kind of slip through the cracks, I think, in a lot of the discourse online. So I'd like to get around to it. You know, I love cello. Cello, I think, is pound for pound my favorite instrument. So when you start off with some cello stuff, you've already got me invested. But yeah, I have the same tag 114 here in my notes. When that main melody is played, like with the sax and the backing vocals come in, like that's when it pops off. And then it just continues to build with various strings and vocals until by the end of it, it sounds like it's Bloodborne music or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I had that note too of like, I like how it starts, you know, it's called Bestower of Wealth. And so to me, it kind of has like this like rich, like schmaltzy feel to it at the start, especially with like all the focus on the strings. But then, yeah, I don't know what's happening in the context of this song and the game and the story, but it is kind of Bloodborne-y. Like I'm imagining like oh, like the bestower of wealth, we thought we were going to get material wealth from them, but now like bad things are happening is what they're bestowing us with. Like it gets so chaotic as it goes on. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And again, this is exactly the kind of stuff I was hoping to get from some listeners. Just yeah, I'm always, I love it when people recommend us stuff that they think we might have missed, because in a lot of cases we probably have. Like we can't hear everything. So
Right. Like I'm sure from what little I've heard of the Sectori soundtrack, I know that's super up my alley. I just haven't played Sectori yet, and like I don't want to listen to the soundtrack until I can get my hands on the game, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. This is why I kind of wanted to get away from calling this like the best of the year stuff. This is just some of the coolest songs that I've heard, but I know there's like infinite amount of stuff that I just can't hear or play every year. But yeah, I love hearing music this cool that I've never even heard before, that I've never played the game and whatever. I think that's such a fun feeling for me. Did we have any other notes for Bestower of Wealth?
no, let's get into this last game here.
Yeah, we've got one more dedicated break, and that's going to be for Hollow Knight Silksong music, because of course we're going to play Lost Verdania and Lace from Hollow Knight Silksong, and Hollow Knight Silksong was composed by Christopher Larkin, and we will be back. that was Lost Verdania and Lace from Hollow Knight Silksong. It's funny, before the break, I said, of course, when I said we're going to talk about Hollow Knight Silksong, but I'd actually forgotten how good the Silksong soundtrack was until you said something about it. Like when we were kind of making up like a rough list of things to talk about, you were like, you know what, we should probably talk about Silksong. I was like, Jesus, you're right. We should. And I can't believe that I completely forgot about it. I don't know if it's just like we all just take how good Silksong is for granted and including its soundtrack. But yeah, it didn't even occur to me. And then the moment I started listening to Lost Verdania again, I'm like, oh God, like this really is one of the best songs of the year.
Yeah, this would be in my top 5 songs of the year also. Well, okay, couple of things. First of all, Shy Guy did not call in with any submissions. I know that he wanted to. He's just been very busy and hasn't had time. But I know that if Shy Guy had done a call in, he would have sent in something about Silksong. So I Shy Guy, if you're listening, I hope that we have done you proud with these 2 picks from the game. And you know, I do think that in the discourse and all anybody can talk about with Hollow Knight seems to be how difficult it is. And I think that is even more annoying to me than the chatter about Clair Obscur this year has been the way that people really sort of latched on to the Hollow Knight difficulty discourse and then pretended like it just didn't happen at all after that. It is everything that I hate about the way people talk about video games in the modern day. Let's latch on to this dumb, tired, pretty worthless conversation about difficulty, and then let's just move on like 2 weeks later and act like this highly anticipated game that we couldn't shut up about for 8 years didn't release this year and wasn't fantastic. I put like 80 hours into that game.
Dude,
like,
I love the first Hollow Knight, and Silksong is so markedly better.
Way better.
In every way, like every single way. I also got very frustrated when it comes to the discourse early on. So many people were like, oh, this game is nowhere near as good as Hollow Knight. And so much of that was built around the difficulty, but also a lot of it was built around the fact that Hornet's moveset is different. And again, not worse, because if anything, I find her moveset way cooler here, and like how momentum based it is, and how many more options you have at any given moment. But then, like, people who just want to play Hollow Knight again were complaining that she doesn't play like the character in Hollow Knight, even though you can get the Wanderer crest, which is by far the most boring crest. And then you can basically play it. Yeah. I used it once. I'm like, oh, that's neat. And then I went back to whatever I was using at the time. Yeah, I agree. I think the Silksong discourse for me was more annoying than Clair Obscur.
So dumb, man.
Probably because I like Silksong more than Clair Obscur. So then it's just like, I wanted to talk to more people about Silksong. And then I couldn't, like, beyond like my usual outlets. But I'm like, oh, cool, everyone's talking about Silksong, but no one is talking about it the way I want to talk about it. I want to talk about, like, builds, and I want to talk about how much better looking the game is, like, from an artistic standpoint. I want to talk about how much better the story is and stuff, but it's just, no, it always came down to the difficulty. And I'm just like, yeah, it's hard, but it's not even that hard of a game, if I'm being honest.
So annoying, dude. It really did bother me. It really made me... I think that Silksong was when I well and truly disconnected from the idea of trying to have meaningful conversations about video games with people on the internet outside of like, you know, our Discord and like my core group of friends or whatever. Like, it's just not happening out there. And Silksong, I think, is the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because like this game does so many cool and interesting things, and like nobody had, like, really none of y'all have anything interesting to say about how good this game's, like, this game made Hornet one of my favorite video game characters ever. Yeah. Like, I loved Hornet's characterization in this game, and like, it just goes to show, like, the soundtrack is being completely slept on. It is wonderful. And a moment like Lost Verdania, I think that's not only my favorite song in the game, it's definitely my favorite area in the game. And it is an optional missable like area that you have to like uncover. Like nobody's talking about how amazing the sound design in the game is and how amazing the music is, and when those things interplay with a kind of gentle, somber moment like discovering Lost Verdania, like it really is beautiful. Like that, like that is the power of video games, is all summed up in that song and in that moment.
Yeah, we have a YouTube comment about this song that really hit me, and like in terms of like talking about like what it represents and like the beauty of it and where it sits in like the story and what it means for like why Hornet is doing what she's doing, and like the character whose like dream she's inside of, basically. Yeah, this was literally the last area of the game I found. I was
Me too.
fully done with it, and I was just like hunting the map looking for things I missed, and then I just stumbled into this. I'm like, oh my god. I to me this is the perfect distillation of everything I liked about Silksong. Not just Silksong, but also like Hollow Knight, in the way that I think Silksong is like honing the formula of the original Hollow Knight to like a razor sharp point. This is the point. Like Lost Verdania is the very tip of that sword of just everything I like about both of these games in one thing. Like how good, again, the art is in this place. The platforming is very good in this place. You get a revisit of one of the most memorable boss fights in Silksong and more contextualization for what that boss fight is, with the story reveals also. It's everything I love about like Souls games, like FromSoft games, and the way they tell stories. Because yeah, Silksong doesn't, it's not going for that same storytelling technique that the first game was going for. Yeah, Hornet is a much more proactive character, and the world hasn't ended yet in this game, as opposed to Dark Souls or the first Hollow Knight. Like, you are living through an apocalyptic moment. You're not in the post-apocalypse. And I think that very slight change makes such a huge world of difference. And now I want to play a FromSoft game where you're not in a post-apocalypse. Like, there's actual society and people still around, you know? Yeah, I loved it. I loved everything about Silksong. I think one of my biggest sins with my Game of the Year list is that I had Silksong at number 4. I'm like, damn, this probably should have been number 2 at the very lowest, if I'm being honest. But that's the thing with Game of the Year lists. You just have to stop at some point
put
and
your
then
pencil down.
Yeah, and then revisit it years later and be like, wow, what the hell was I thinking? But yeah, I loved Lost Verdania. I think the song as well, like just hearing like the violins coming in heavy at 123 with the choral backing was getting me choked up. And again, this was a song like a week ago that I kind of had forgotten about. But now I'm like, oh no, yeah, no, not that. What was it, the Green Prince or something? I'm like, no, not that.
Yeah. Dude, like that moment, it's so like when you realize that you're in like his memories, and knowing that like you know how this will end, you know, and you know that you'll never come back to Lost Verdania, and Lost Verdania will never come back, you know? Like it just, the song conveys this, like you have unearthed something like precious and hopeful in a hopeless land. Like even the enemies in the area are beautiful. Like the bug enemies are like made of like leaves and clover, and they just like rest on like the green water. It's just, I have goosebumps even just talking about it and thinking about it now. Like it's just beautiful. Like it you know, and it just it's so stark when you realize like it is a playable version of kind of what you're fighting for, like what you're trying to reclaim someday in this world, and the sort of reckoning of how impossible or how insurmountable that task seems, which is, again, it's very prescient to modern times, right? And yeah, like the sort of story crescendo with Green Prince, who again is a completely missable character. Like I just think it's exquisite. It is my favorite moment in that game, and that game is full of amazing moments.
Yeah, just the fact that they're doing the Hollow Knight thing again of free content updates. Like, yo, those
Yeah.
Hollow Knight updates were huge. Like,
Crazy.
if this nautical one, I forget what it's called, but if this one they announced a couple weeks ago is even half as big as some of the Hollow Knight 1 content updates, I'm so excited to go back in and revisit. Also, hopefully by then, like, all the people have been filtered out that can't hang, that just want to talk about how
Right,
mean that
exactly.
trick bench was. Like, hopefully they're not around anymore.
Dude, like we have to do better than this. We have to. We just can't be this way.
It's funny too, because when I encountered that trick bench, like, I laughed at it. Like, yeah, it got me, of course.
Yeah.
I might have even died from it. I laughed because it was funny. Like, I don't know what it is with, like, gamers and not being able to have a sense of humor about themselves. Like, you got. Just don't let it happen next time. It's fine. Like, I just think I just think people who play video games put a lot of, like, weight into their own accomplishments, but, like, to me that moment was like, yeah, you didn't accomplish anything, because you really didn't. Like, great, you made it through the area of a video game, and then the game said, actually, no, you didn't, you got tricked. Like, that's funny. I don't know, man. It's weird, the humorlessness of some people.
I'm not trying to get on a big tangent about this, but, like, it's because people are not playing video games anymore. They're consuming content. It's all just content. If I have any sort of friction at all, anything that keeps me from content, from the forward progression, the tube that is, shoveling nutrient rich sludge into my gullet, if I have anything between me and that, then it's bad and I don't like it. Like, and it's because they want to be able to post that they beat it. They want to post it on their backlogged and put it in their, their Blue Sky thread and whatever. And it's not about the game or playing the game or enjoying it or talking about it meaningfully. It's about content. And I can't stand it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Because, again, like, it even ruined, like I said, I laughed at it, and then when I saw what other people were reacting or how they were reacting to it, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you even managed to ruin this moment for me, kind of.
Let's talk about Lace.
Yeah, let's talk about Lace. I don't have too many notes on this one. I mean, yeah, obviously fighting the character of Lace, and you get a song that's nothing but string instruments. That seems very obvious on the face of it, but it's genius, though. Like, it's genius. I don't know. I'm not someone that listens to a lot of, like, orchestral music that's just strings. And so the variety of, like, types of sounds you're able to produce just from string instruments is pretty cool. And I don't think about that often until I'm presented with a song like this. But yeah, I really don't have much here beyond, like, it's just cool that the song is structured the way it is.
It made me think about I Am Setsuna, which is a game whose entire score is just piano. And to me, that was a very negative thing about the soundtrack of that game. I think really detracted from the game to me, which I think is, like, mostly fine, if not a bit soulless. But I think that, like, this is an example of how you can take something that has a very specific, like, idea with its oral identity and still give it plenty of texture. Like, composing this entirely with strings not only makes perfect sense for the game, for the character, but, like, it still feels like a fully formed song. And it's, those Lace fights, it really, I know this is like a overblown cliche thing to say at this point, but they do feel like a dance. Fighting Lace, and she's ultimately kind of your rival, Dark Reflection kind of character. She basically is Hornet to Hornet, like she's Hornet's Hornet. But I love how she has this kind of, and it's conveyed in her music, like classical, regal, Princess of Farloom sort of thing, but, like, still very intense and, like, brash and almost reckless. Like, she's not refined, even though her sound is refined, and she, at least at first, views herself as being above Hornet. She's still kind of like a petulant child a little bit, and I don't know. I liked her character a lot. I liked those fights a lot. and this song is just great. It was cool to hear it at the Game Awards. So yeah, just good stuff.
I just realized I didn't listen to the Game Awards performance for their Game of the Year nominees. That's actually like the best part of that show.
The one
every
thing you
year.
should do. Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the Game Awards beyond just looking at some of the trailers that sounded interesting. But yeah, I should I might do that when we're done recording this podcast.
Yeah,
honestly.
just watch that just to see the flute guy pull out like increasingly ridiculous. At one point, I'm not kidding, and you'll see what I mean when you watch it. At one point, he literally he pulls out like a PVC pipe and plays that.
I saw someone posted that on Blue Sky. Yeah,
it's crazy.
With that said, then we are through somehow the bulk of the episode. I have a confession to make that I have been raw dogging this episode of Bit Harmony. I did not have coffee, and I've been hungry since like the second break of the episode. If anything you've heard thus far has been upsetting, that's why. You just got to deal with it a little bit longer. As we finish this up.
Don't Bit Harmony until you've had your coffee.
Yeah. We do have, though, the return, after a couple of episodes of it being gone, the return of the YouTube comment oversharing corner. This is the section of the show where we read off any funny, memorable, interesting, or downright insane comments we've stumbled across while grabbing songs for this episode. It's been so long since we've done this that I actually had to look at the note to see what I wrote down. Normally I could just rattle that off the top of my dome, but in this case I actually had to look at what the words I had written down nearly 2 years ago were for this. First up, we've got YouTube user Ghost Block, which that's a fantastic name. Ghost
Good
Block
name.
is mwah. They commented on Float Islands / Wave Flow Waters Alternate 3 weeks ago. And they just say, superb, impossible to be sad listening to this. And I fully agree. I didn't bring it up. I kind of forgot to, honestly, when we were talking about this song earlier. I first, because this is, you have to unlock the song to hear it when you're normally doing the races or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The first part I heard this at was in the road trip mode. You hear it when you're in like the beach biome or whatever.
Right.
I had the biggest, dumbest, goofiest grin on my face the moment this came up, and that really, like, up until that point I'd probably been playing Kirby Air Riders for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, this is cool, but I don't know how much I'm feeling it. But it really was hearing this Float Islands rearrangement for the first time that really, like, it, like something just snapped in me, and I'm like, okay, like, this is what I'm here for. I'm just here for the Kirby fan service. And yeah, it was fantastic, and I fully agree that it is impossible for me to be sad while listening to it.
Absolutely. How can you be sad listening to this? Yeah. So I agree. I'm very curious about this next comment, though. From YouTube user Joaquin Lazo 3142, who commented on Crystalline Fissure 1 month ago. I came because of Donkey.
This is a bit of a cheap shot. I think Donkey did a video of this. I'm guessing that's what it's referencing.
Okay.
I didn't watch the Donkey video. I mostly, look, if you're listening to this, you know why I put this in here. It sounds funny to say I came because of Donkey. That's all. I will say I didn't add it because it was when I was trying to narrow down songs. I had a whole bunch of Kirby Air Riders songs up. I don't remember which song it was from, but there was a comment on a different song that was saying, she Kirby's on my adventure until I nightmare in Dreamland. And I just wanted to shout that out as an honorary.
Jesus. That's so dumb.
that is so dumb. It's just about the peak of YouTube comment oversharing corner.
Yeah.
I say just about, because I think this next comment might actually be the new peak of YouTube comment oversharing corner. This is from YouTube user Merbird9174, commented on Where the City Can't See 10 days ago. We talk about dead grandma comments all the time. We've got an almost dead self comment on this one. His comment reads, I was near death drowning just 2 hours ago. And then in parentheses, on accident.
As
But
opposed to
you're-
on purpose.
Yeah, but your song and the game behind it brings me comfort. Thank you. I hope you get the credit you deserve. I feel like a demon made out of glass, so fragile yet so insistent on being strong and brave. I'm so grateful to be here. So again, not only is that comment super funny, the drowning 2 hours ago in parentheses on accident, but then you get the full wrap back around to talking about the themes of the game and what it means to you and what it does for you and tying it all together. This is what the YouTube comment oversharing corner is all about.
Hell yeah, dude. Great comment. I also wonder, is Merbird, is that like a mermaid, but instead of half fish, you're half bird? Is that what that is?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into this little batch of comment. I only added one comment to the batch here, and I'll read it first. It is from YouTube user Maverick VGC 4220, who commented on L battle theme 2 months ago. The real L is that he can't sleep on any of the benches. Have you seen this?
No, I saw a lot of references to this, but I don't know what it's referring to.
So the benches in Pokémon Legends Z-A have like the homeless deterrents
Oh,
on them.
Jesus. I mean,
yeah.
I guess that's a good attention to detail, but God, good God.
Yeah, they have like the little like separating bars to, you know, to deter homeless from sleeping on it. And yeah, like it's a genuinely good detail that adds like just a level of like scummy industrialness to the city. Like it's very, to me, I'm not kidding, the benches are very important to conveying like the tone of that game. And I love that somebody shouted it out. And yeah, because L is like kind of like a homeless dude in this game, he can't sleep on any of the benches. I wonder where he's sleeping. So
Okay, yeah. Now that I know the context for it, that's a pretty awful concept.
dude, yeah, like I mean, that game gets into like the, you know, how like you know, a big city, Paris, you know, sort of thing. You're robbed. The first thing that happens to you is you're robbed in the game. And then like even in the ZA Royale, like when you're initiating battles, you're incentivized to like sneak up on people in the dark. Like
I've seen streams of the game where people are just like, yeah, as the player are sneaking up and like attacking someone from behind. I'm like, oh God.
yeah, like there's something like grimy to the game that like really serves to underline the themes. Like I don't know, man. There's something to that.
We have this other L battle theme comment from Stone XL 1 month ago. In this game, a billionaire learns humility and tries to become a better person purely for themselves. That's how you can tell it's a work of fiction, which that's just a good summation and a good commentary on where we are in real life right now as Elon Musk promotes AI child porn on Twitter. That's just where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Elon Musk will not have his L redemption arc. But, you know, it's just, this is where we are. Okay, so for this one, I guess I'll read the first part here, because these are two long comments back to back.
Yeah.
YouTube user CoolGuy1377 commented on Lost Verdania 3 months ago. I literally cried when entering this map for the first time. Closed my eyes and just felt all the emotion in visiting a land long lost in time, with a whole ecosystem that thrived. It really hits home since I work with conservation and environmental health. Even before Silksong, I always talked to my friends how I would sacrifice anything just to go back in time and see with my own eyes all the species that we lost due to human occupation and colonization here where I live in Brazil. In the city where I live, we just have whispers of what was a really big forest that covered everything. Today, we only see ghosts of what that gigantic forest was. Only the idea of this is enough to send shivers down my spine. And that's exactly what you do in Act 3 of Silksong, and then in all caps, absolute cinema.
Yeah, I do like ending that that very thoughtful
With like a lame, tired meme.
and then absolute cinema, yeah.
It's like the most generic thing you could say.
Right. After again, like some genuinely like insightful and interesting
Yeah.
comment. And then we had YouTube user Terraria Love 69420. I guess that's 69420. Wow, how did I not realize that until right now?
I almost spit out my water. No, that was almost a real life spit take. Oh my god, that's so funny.
They've got Terraria Love 69420 responded 3 weeks ago. Yes, dude, you get it. I'm from America, but in the entire story of Silksong, I keep seeing analogies to how the native people of my country were slaughtered, then appropriated and shoved into the darkest recesses of our country. Think about the Weavers, man. They were always shunned back, and I don't know why I would think about the Weavers, man.
Think about the Weavers, man.
Think about the Weavers, man. They were always shunned back in Hollow Knight, but Silksong saw a monarch who launched an entire campaign on extracting them for all they were worth and taking all they could get from the native ecosystems in Farloom. What was the putrefied ducks before they built those waterways, let alone before they pumped their exhaust through them? What was the sands of Karik truly like, before the Citadel dried them up? Do the Memoriam Keepers even mourn these losses? Does the Citadel even mourn these losses? God, I love it so much. And yeah, we have two big-ass goobers in the YouTube comments really spouting some truth here. I don't know. I just can't get over the Terraria Love 69420.
I can't. It's so hard for me to take this comment seriously, knowing that it comes from somebody with 69420 in their username.
I genuinely did not realize until I read the name off. Like, I just copied and pasted this comment in here without realizing that, and it totally changes the tenor of everything to me.
Absolutely.
And again, they have a very salient point. I think it's very beautifully put. Like, does the Citadel even mourn these losses? Truly powerful stuff, but you weakened your own argument a little bit by the name.
Well, I don't even know how to pronounce this last name. What the hell is this?
I think it's dichloro-diphenyl tricolor 4675.
Okay. YouTube user dichloro-diphenyl trichloros 4675 commented on campsite 1 from Duck Detective 7 months ago, just saying simply with no capitalization or punctuation, nice.
Yeah. I originally put that there to come off of how heavy the Hollow Knight comments were, but turns out we found our own fun in the Hollow Knight comments anyway, so we didn't need the knife.
Yeah, we found a way to undercut any of the drama or seriousness of that comment.
Yeah. Well, we didn't. I would say the people that commented
did it themselves.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get out of here then. Look, this has been a big one, and I appreciate y'all for contributing to it, sending in your voicemails and your submissions. As a reminder, as we wrap up here, you can send those in to bitharmonypod@gmail.com if you want to email them in, or you can call in your voicemails to 216-230-8540. The number again is 216-230-8540. You can text that number too if you want Bot Harmony to read it off. You can also do that. But we do not accept song requests from Bot Harmony. This as an FYI. And also, keep your voicemails to less than 3 minutes if you're calling in. You can email as long as you want. I assume that both of our emailed voicemails were longer than 3 minutes, in fact.
Oh, they were each over 5 minutes, yeah.
Right. So you can do that if you want to go longer. But yeah, if you're calling in, you will be cut off after 3 minutes. So you can do that. You can also do what Sam did, which is be in the Discord and sound off in there. We also will acknowledge that and take notice of all of that. And
or you can be my wife and just tell me you want to talk about Infinity Nikki on the podcast.
Yeah, you can just do that. You can just marry Matt and have a direct line that way. Okay, but I guess the last thing to do then is to thank our patrons. Bit Harmony is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Thank you to our Triforce tier supporters like Adam Caparello, Bowza, Quagmire, Dan and Luma, Danny Linahosa, SAZ, John Cummins, Josh Vaughn, Legerwoods330, and Uncle Randy. And thank you to our Golden Banana tier supporters, Big Dogs Only, Bill Tucker, Foolish Fuji, Gamer Jason, Hopple, John32, Liam D, Old Drake, Phelan Ward, Rob Yapel, Shy Guy, thank you Shy Guy, Sean Ashton, Sparky, and Stephen Keller. Again, do check out the Patreon. We have links in the show notes. And make a free account, if nothing else, because we are going to be putting that Kirby Star-Crossed World mini available for even free Patreon members. So please do that, if nothing else. But you can also check out a 7-day free trial and look at all of the exclusive minis for free for 7 days, including the one that we have coming up. So that's another thought. Just pop the 7-day free trial when that new mini comes out, and you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, January 25th should be when the Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Starcross World mini goes up for free on the Patreon, and then probably the same day, I don't know exactly, but we will be having having a new mini go up, but that one will be behind the paywall. And yeah, we don't have an exact date when we'll be back. It's going to depend on stuff. We'll be back sometime in February. It shouldn't be too long. But yeah, we will return, and we will talk about more video games and video game music, I'm sure. But yeah, nothing specific to announce with what the next episode is or anything. And given that this is a year-end episode that is way too long as it is, we're not doing haikus. Taking you out this episode is Kaze no Chronicle from Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I know what you're thinking with a game title like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It is not going to sound like what you're thinking it's going to sound like. And I guess we'll just leave it there. Thank you for listening. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something, Seth?
No. I was just that's it's not going to sound like what you think it's going to sound like. They said, what if we ended this Ninja Gaiden game with Japanese city pop?
Yeah. And it's funny that it is fitting. The game takes place in the 80s, and it's a callback to the 80s when the Ninja Gaiden NES games were coming out and stuff. It makes sense when you have that knowledge in your head.
It rules though.
It's a fantastic city pop soundtrack. It's just, if you don't have that context, you might be wondering what the hell is going on. But there, I just gave you the context.
Well, this is the energy we need. Coming into 2026, we need this energy at our backs. You know?
Yeah, we opened with Birdcage and just surprise saxophones and insanity. This ending is our new beginning.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. There we
Kaze
go.
no Chronicle from Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Lost in the game, 巡り合いは至らに
And then, yeah, we had YouTube user Terraria Love 69420. I guess that's 69420. Wow, how did I not realize that until right now?
I almost spit out my water. Oh, that was almost a real life spit take. Oh my god. That's so funny.